Forgot I was doing the intro. Hello, and welcome to Toughcast, the Untitled Podcasters podcast, where we talk about movies and get heavily off topic while doing so. My name is Andrew. I am one of your hosts. Alongside me today, guy who's stretching his jawline, my friend Steve,
Hello.
and my other friend Colby.
That's me.
And we are here to talk about movies and get off topic, but I already said that. Our review today, we are going to be talking a lot about the year of 2024 as it comes to an end, the highlights, the low points, the top 10 movies for us, and we will be revisiting our film fantasy bracket that we did at the beginning of the year, where we each picked movies where we thought were going to be successful and see how they panned out.
And I was so wrong. I don't even have to look at it. More than half my list didn't even come up.
Yeah,
Yes,
some of them didn't even come out.
So I think what we'll do when we get there is we'll just have whatever wasn't released this year, we'll automatically go on to the
Our
list for next year.
Yeah.
And then you'll just pick something to replace it with.
Yep.
I just for context, we did this for the end of 2023 last year, and it was very close. The averages came out. I had the highest average with 8.35. Steve had the second with 8.34, and Colby had 8.3. So it was very, very close. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes when we get there.
Nice.
Well, that was awkward.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do like a new list relatively soon for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thought I had for that was next week or for next episode we're planning to watch Alien, and then I think the episode after that we could do our predictions because tentatively speaking that should be still January.
Yeah.
Or early February. But I don't think much is coming out in January. So
sometime in Q1 next year.
In Toughcast time, we'll be doing this list in November.
Q1.
Yeah. All right. So we want to start off with our top 10s.
So this is our top 10 list of movies that came out in the year 2024
also,
that we saw.
Just to preface that this is a personal top 10.
Yes.
This does not reflect actual audience, critic, or box office.
Yeah, this is
personal
just us.
Top 10.
Three knuckleheads who don't really know the deep in and outs of movies, just for fun and what we enjoyed on the screen.
Yeah, so you might hear some of our picks and be like, "Who the hell are these guys?"
Yeah, what is that movie? Never heard of it.
There will be judgment. Come out
this year?
I know there will be judgment, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And if you hear noises in the background, that's just an 8-year-old child running around happy upstairs.
They do that.
Good to know.
They tend to do that.
I heard a scream before we started recording, and I just kind of figured that's what that was.
Yeah, she's like giggle screaming. It's her new thing. She like giggle yells.
Sure, that doesn't get old.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
All right.
Yeah, always fun. It's really loud too. Yeah, there's a little bit going on right now.
We just heard a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Footsteps.
There's
our basement doesn't have like a basement door. It's just like we have stairs that lead into the basement because it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like before the house got demolished by the tree, we did have a basement door, but then we separated the two small rooms in the basement into one big room. So now there's no door.
Okay.
Just for reference.
Cool.
No,
I know everyone needs to know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's fighting up in the trenches.
Yeah, basically, and it's just against herself. So
nice. I like A for creativity.
That's right.
All right. So before we do the top 10s, I know Colby did a bottom 3.
I did.
I did not, but I have a very short list, so I could just read off the 3 lowest ones I had.
Okay, but you have to explain why you weren't able to do a bottom 3.
Well, you see, I went through my plan was to go through the Wikipedia of all the movies that were released in 2024,
Yeah.
and then write down everyone that I saw, and then I'd go through and rank them like based on that. I saw 11 movies
Nice.
in theaters that were released in 2024.
Nice.
Not released. These were all released in theaters, but these are the only movies that I've seen that were released
You
this
could
year.
have theoretically done a bottom one.
I have an honorable mention, which I guess is my bottom one.
Nice.
So just this was not a hard list for me to formulate.
Do you want to start us off with your honorable mention / bottom
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, so the only one that didn't make my top 10, which the last like 3 of my bottom 10 are like they could go anyway. Like it's really they just how they panned out on the list.
Do you think if you saw more movies, they would have made it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I genuinely don't know.
Like my top 10, like the bottom ones would have made it because I saw still a bunch of movies. But I feel like 11 movies, there probably is like 1 or 2 on there that you're like, I wouldn't pick this movie.
Yeah, probably.
So
And I get when you guys go through yours, I'm gonna be like, oh, I forgot I saw that.
here's
I know
the
that's gonna
thing.
happen.
Here's the thing. I don't want to get into too many spoilers until we actually reveal our own lists. However, most of these movies I have seen with Andrew.
This is true.
My bottom 3 consist of 2 of the movies that I have seen with Andrew.
I know what all
Meaning-
3 of his are. I can just
Meaning that those at least one of those 2 movies is in his top 10, if not both of them,
Nice.
which concerns me.
which is why Colby made a preface to say that these are our opinions.
Right.
I
Well,
felt like that was targeted at me.
Well, for context too, so Andrew saw 11 movies 2024,
I saw
Colby?
I saw 25.
and I saw 30 according to my list, but I'm not entirely like I think I got them all. There's probably
Yeah.
1 or 2 that I might have missed. Maybe
Yeah,
you guys
same.
will say them, maybe you won't, but 30 that I could at least count based on all the apps that I've bought tickets on and looking up a list. So, just for reference.
Mm-hmm. So, does anyone want to guess my honorable mention?
Truthfully, I have no idea.
Okay.
Despicable Me 4.
That's gonna be in his top 10, Steve. Are you crazy?
I can't even tell you what it's about. I saw it in theaters, but I
never
have
saw
no
that
clue
one.
what it was about. I don't
Little,
remember.
little yellow beans.
Like that's it. That's it. That's all I got.
My honorable mention, which I don't think this was bad. It just like I enjoyed it when I saw it. Was Red One.
Okay.
You know, I like
That's fair.
didn't see much.
That
So-
movie's already streaming for free.
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be a streaming movie.
Well, how did it even get a theatrical release?
I think
Rock.
they were just like, we want more money, so throw it out there and see what happens. But it was originally only meant to be a streaming movie.
I mean, you got big stars, so I get that part of it.
I think people are just sick of seeing those kind of movies.
Yeah.
The action Christmas movies with The Rock.
Yeah.
Kind of all the same. It was enjoyable, like Andrew said, but
Mhm.
I could see why it did not make your top 10. That makes sense.
Yes. Which means the other 2
Yeah.
that Colby was referencing are in my
Yeah,
top 10.
they're mixed in there somewhere.
I know there will be heavy disagreement as to where I placed a couple of these.
I
know there will.
I know at least one of them because I was at the
I would have
theater
read
for it.
one to the
Mhm.
top of my list before I put those 2 in there.
All right, Colby, how about you? Your bottom 3. I know I'm like 95%
Well,
sure I know what they are, but I don't
you
know
said
the
there was-
ranking.
So you said there was a theme, right?
There's a very obvious theme. If you guess one of them, you guess them all.
I know what it is.
Is it musicals?
No, that's a good guess though.
Because
That is
there's
a
some
good guess.
there's some bad musicals.
No, that's a good
for you.
guess, but I think Andrew knows.
Yes, I do.
Do you want
Want
to
me
give
to
it a
guess?
shot? Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna guess the movies.
Yeah.
Madam Web.
Was that
okay.
this year?
Yeah, it was like
It
February.
sure was.
Oh, really?
Didn't feel like
Jesus.
it, but
Madam
it sure
Web.
was.
Joker 2
Uh-huh.
and Venom 3.
Sure is, buddy.
I don't know if
Bottom
that was the
3.
right order or not. But-
So, all right. I had
Wait,
Venom.
did you see Craven?
No, nobody saw that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. That would have been yeah.
So all right, to preface, I still think Madam Web is the worst superhero movie I've ever seen in my life. That is by far number one. That movie is horrible, and there's no defending it. Nobody can actually sit there and defend that movie. The fact that the villain had ADR dubbing and he literally wasn't even saying what he was saying 95% of the time, and they didn't even try to hide it, is inexcusable for a movie in 2024.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Inexcusable. Especially from a major blockbuster studio such as Sony. Nothing, like, that alone should make that movie bottom tier, disregarding everything else with it. So yeah, that movie's my worst movie of all time, potentially.
There you go.
Joker is my number 2. We already know my thoughts on that. I'm not going to go into it. And Venom 3 is definitely my third one. It's I think the Venom trilogy is. I think the first one was all right, and I think that was kind of all we needed.
Yeah.
From Venom. I don't think he dictated having his own trilogy. And I think it just really started to wear thin, especially when that third one came out. It was just kind of like, what is happening here? It was almost like they just felt obligated to make a movie rather than wanting to make a movie. And so they were like, let's just wrap this up and ship it out.
I will say Venom 3 was better than Venom 2.
Yes, I will admit to that. It was definitely better than the second one. I couldn't even tell you what the second one was about.
Carnage, right?
Yeah,
I know there was there was red, and that was it.
I didn't hate Venom 3 as much as I thought, but I knew what I was in for. Like, not great. Carnage, Venom, action, whatever. But the story was pretty bad. For sure.
Cool.
So I'm assuming you got a bottom 3 as well, right?
Yes.
All right, let's have it.
I wouldn't say my bottom 3 is like bottom 3 like terrible, would never watch again movies.
That was the same with me.
But my bottom 3 is like my 3 biggest disappointments, I would say, of the year. Because I can't, like, on my list, like, there's really not a movie that I was like, I can't believe I wasted 2 hours of my life watching that. I'll never get that back. So my first, like, most disappointed in was Moana 2. Because Moana was so good. Yeah. I didn't expect the second one to be as good, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. And I know it's made like $600 million or whatever, and they'll probably make a third one. But like, there's no plot. There's no there's no storyline. You don't care about the side characters, the new characters that they introduced.
I also feel like Maui was barely in it.
Yeah, like it's like a buddy cop movie where the buddy cops are Moana and Maui, but they don't get together till the halfway point. And you're like, well, what are we doing here? Like, we're trying to develop new characters and new things like that, but nobody cares. So.
Also, coming from the guy that doesn't like musicals, the movie's supposed to be a musical. There's no music in the movie, and the little that there is horrible.
Yeah, The Rock's like big new song is miserable.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
It's just so bad.
You're gonna hear that a lot from me. That'll be my
what?
Catchphrase of this episode. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Number 2, just because personal fandom, I would say, I did not like the Godzilla x Kong, the new Empire movie. The last couple have been pretty good. Like, not, Godzilla Minus One has been the best Godzilla movie, like, in the last, 15 years. Even over,
the 1998 Godzilla?
Yeah, way better than the Ferris Bueller Godzilla from back in the day. But this one was like, they go to Hollow Earth, which is like where King Kong's species lives inside of Earth, and there's a bad monkey down there. So now there's like 2, like King Kong and the bad monkey, and the bad monkey rides a lizard-looking thing, which is like Godzilla. So now it's essentially King Kong has to go get Godzilla to like help him fight the monkey that rides the lizard that looks like Godzilla. Like, it was just.
Wait, does
you lost me.
I know you know what I'm about to ask. He doesn't ride Godzilla?
He does not. There's
what
like
the heck?
there's like a cinematic shot where the monkey's riding the other lizard and like they're about to come into the middle of the screen and battle, and like Godzilla is like lower and King Kong is higher, so it kind of looks like he is, but he's not, and they just like clash, and like that's the big cinematic like sequence from that, but he doesn't ride him. And
What's
also
even the point of the movie then?
and then Godzilla for half of the movie, he is tired, so he takes a nap in the Roman Colosseum. Like he's asleep
As
for
one
half
does.
the movie in the Roman Colosseum like a cat.
I think I just
So-
want Steve to start narrating all these movies now.
It's just
Yeah.
I was just so disappointed, and it didn't have to be great, but even the action sequences were just not good. Like the Godzilla and the King Kong of it all was not good. Like they added new monkeys and new creatures; those weren't good. Like
That
they were
is
just
taking a
rip-offs.
lot too, because people aren't going into those movies expecting much.
There was one really cool Easter egg that they kept out of the marketing, which I was very surprised at, is that in the middle of the battle sequence, they have to summon another monster to like figure out the problem, whatever it is. I don't even remember. But that monster ends up being Mothra, which is like one of
Mhm.
the big like original monsters from the early Godzilla movies that always battles Godzilla. And that
That
was
was
in
the one
like
from the 2014 Godzilla, right?
I don't know. I don't know if Mothra has showed up at all yet. I don't really remember, to be honest. But there was in none of the marketing. So when it happened, I was like legit excited. I was like, that's Mothra. Like, I can't believe they pulled this off. Like, usually marketing ruins it, or like spoilers ruin it, or like, they're like,
Right.
we can't hide this. We have to put it in the trailer. Like, so people will come. And so I will give it that. But other than that, it was a bad movie. And then quickly, my third one was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It just wasn't.
Yeah,
I like all of those movies. Like they've all been War, Rise. There was a third one in there. This is the fourth one, and it's because Caesar isn't the main character anymore. So they followed
Yeah.
like new monkeys, and they just weren't. You weren't connected to them, so you just didn't. They tried to connect you to the main character, who I don't even remember at this point, at the beginning by having him like go through a tragedy, and he has to like he gets exiled from his clan, and he has to like work his way back. But it's just not Caesar. Caesar was like the cool badass monkey from the last three movies.
So that was the one that I saw, but I forgot I saw.
Yeah,
So that one
There it
is not
is.
on my list.
there's one.
I did see that one, and I liked it, but it was definitely the weakest of the four.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like, no doubt about it.
I think that's what it was. It just like, and at the end when they find humans and they're sending out like signals, and you're like, wait a minute, like we're just going in circles. It's
Yeah.
like just monkeys, and then the humans arrive, and then the humans, populate, and then the monkeys come back and they take over. Like we're just going in circles, which we will until the end of time with those movies, but I just don't feel like they did it.
Do you know why?
Because we're on the Planet of the Apes.
No, because money.
Oh.
Greenbacks.
Because money.
True. So yeah, that was my three disappointments. I wouldn't say they're terrible movies by any stretch, but I was just really like I left the theaters like, oh, like
Yeah.
man, like I thought it was gonna be a little bit better, especially Moana 2.
I saw all three of the movies you talked about, and I could definitely see. Well, I didn't see Godzilla, but I've seen enough about it that I can understand your reasoning for those.
Yeah, just a little rough.
Cool. So then we'll move on to our top 10. So do we want to just say number 10, then go one each?
Well, yeah, we'll do 10, 10, 10,
Yeah.
999, 888,
Yeah, I think that's a good way to
Cool.
go.
777.
66.
Fuck you, video. Oh, we're back. All right. Well, now how do you?
How to who's a what's it?
How do we what?
Oh, no, the stupid, the group chat that everyone's phones are going off for.
Yeah,
I
all
was just
that
trying
dinging that I was
Yeah, I was
hearing
just trying
here.
to silence it. That's all.
Oh,
gotcha.
you guys are getting notifications for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
you muted.
I just had to silence it. That's all.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right. So, all right. Well, so number 10 for our top 10 list of 2024.
Number 10. So wait, hold on before we go. How did you guys do your list? Like, was there a process that you went with?
Personal enjoyment.
So I like picked my favorite movie of the year and like wrote it at the top of a piece of paper, and then like picked the next movie and was like, was it better than that? No. Okay, it goes underneath. And then I picked my third movie and was like, is it better than that? Is it better than that? And then I kind of like, so some movies made my top 10, and then like slowly I worked more movies into it, if that makes sense.
It was like, for me, it was like,
pick
what
10
do I
out of the
remember?
11.
Yeah, that too. It was like, so from those 10 movies, I'm like, what do I remember the most? And like, what did I enjoy the most?
Yep.
So I, for the most part, just kind of like, I started with what would I want to rewatch the most?
Yeah.
Like, what it has the most rewatchability.
Yeah, that was part of mine too.
So that's kind of how I structured mine. And then after that, I kind of looked at it and I was like, oh, what do I think actually was like after I picked out which ones I think I would like to rewatch the most, I was like, which ones do I think were made the best? Or at least that I thought were made the best. So that's kind of how I structured my list loosely.
Before we start this, we should each try to guess what each other's number one was.
I'm
Should we
gonna
just
guess.
like write it down,
Oh yeah, you could do that if you'd like.
or should we just say it out loud?
I thought we were just say it now, and then once we go through our list, if it doesn't come up, then it doesn't. But
I'm gonna
can
say
if you want.
Steve's is Dune Part 2.
That's what I was also gonna say.
I think Andrew's is Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's a pretty safe bet.
Probably the same for Colby.
It's a safe bet.
Yeah.
I think we all have pretty safe bets going on here.
You'll be surprised.
You, Andrew?
What do you mean I'll be surprised? I swear to God, Andrew, if it's Despicable Me.
Well, no, but he has Wicked too.
You're gonna be real surprised when it gets to my list.
He's got Wicked too. I was a little worried about Wicked, but I went safe with Deadpool.
What was the
Wolverine.
Unbreakable movie or something? The
Piece by Piece.
Piece by Piece.
Yeah.
That's his number one.
I didn't see that either. No,
Wait, did you? Oh, you didn't see it though. Oh,
no.
I thought you saw that one.
Of my top 6, I only saw 2.
I'm curious. There's a couple on my top 10 that you guys probably have never even heard of. So
probably,
in the sense that there's a couple of streaming movies.
Yeah, you're that guy.
I am that guy.
Oh, so
I like streaming movies if they're free at home.
I didn't watch it, but did you guys watch Carry On?
No.
No, my dad told me to tell you guys he didn't like that one.
So my thing is, whenever there's a super popular Netflix or super popular streaming movie or show or whatever that everybody's raving about, I never end up watching it until like 2 years later because I just don't care.
I've followed the trend of like watching it, and then everyone's talking about it, and they're like, "It's great," and I'm like, "It fucking sucked." Like, what is everyone talking about? Like,
that's why I don't. Rush
I don't understand why they think these are good.
Like I feel like half the time I haven't seen too many, but the ones that I have seen, I'm like they're But like you guys raved about them for 6 months.
Well, it's like the reason why they didn't go to theaters and they went directly to streaming is because they're B movies.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point. That's the point of streaming movies.
What are we yelling about here? It's not a good movie. Like it's an
all
right movie at best.
I didn't see that. What was it called? Carry On movie. Yeah. But my parents and my sister watched it like last week. And ever since they've been referring to it by like different names, but like so today it was Luggage Claim. Airport Checker was one.
That's a good joke. Like
it is, yeah.
If we were watching a comedy and there was a through line about like misrepresenting a movie, like that would be a funny joke through the whole movie.
Yeah.
My dad was like, "Be sure to tell him I didn't like Airport Security."
Yeah,
he just forgot the name of it.
Oh, yeah. So that's a better joke than most of that movie.
That was funny.
I heard there's one really good action scene in it, like better than you'd expect. But I'm like, I'm not watching 2 hours for like a 10-minute action scene.
Yeah.
So one day it'll happen. One day, like Colby said, 2 years from now.
Yep.
All right. Our top 10. All right.
Top 10.
My 10th place movie was Joker 2.
Joker 2. And
let
nobody's
that sink in for a minute.
Only because I saw it.
Pretty much.
Take a moment of
It beat
silence.
Red One. It beat Venom. Yeah, I mean it is under Venom.
Yep.
I think that movie is just an enigma at this point. Like it doesn't even make sense that it exists.
Released it. It belongs in a vault.
I know, but while I was watching it, I was having fun. Like I don't know what. I'll never watch it again. Like
No, right.
in
Same.
20 years, when someone puts it on, I'll be like, okay, let's see if I remember this being good, and that's it. But like, I'll never watch. Like, I'll never actively seek that movie out because it's so depressing.
Like, I don't. I have so much beef with DC and Sony. So much.
But that
Their
Superman
movies are
trailer looks
trash.
awesome.
But like,
This
I
is a
don't
new
even
era.
care. Don't care. I'm coming hot off Joker 2. I could not give less of a crap about anything DC has to offer. And I know James Gunn has made Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad and Guardians, and they're all top-notch movies.
Yeah.
But until I see it, I'm not saying a word about that movie. I just don't care.
It's probably for the best.
I'm gonna take it from my list.
Dog, though, if I'm being honest. I think we could probably live without the dog.
I know. I heard a lot of people were excited by it because it's like a big part of Superman lore that like has never been on the big screen, but I wasn't thrilled.
Well, like,
I'm not a dog person.
I'm not a huge DC person. And just real quick, but like, from what I saw in the trailer, it looks like they're introducing a lot of characters really quickly into their new reboot universe. And I just don't know if that's the brightest idea. Because DC already tried that, and it did not work.
True.
So,
it's true.
I don't know. That's just my thought on that.
Well,
hey,
come back.
They didn't, from what, at least unless I missed it, I didn't see any Easter eggs for Joker or Harley Quinn.
Thank God.
Other top 10s.
Colby, you're up.
I had A Quiet Place Day 1.
All right.
Now, I would like to preface, I never saw the first one.
Or the second one.
I did see the second one. No, I did see the second one.
Oh, yeah. Andrew saw the first one, but not the second one, right?
Correct.
And together, we pieced our information together.
Yeah.
And we both learned that, yes, this is a prequel, so our information didn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
But I thought it was a pretty good movie. I'm a big cat person. And basically, one of the main actors in that movie was a cat. So
pretty balling.
Nothing more needs to be said.
Right.
I'll say, watching that, like I was on edge for that cat the whole time, and I'm so happy the cat made it through, and I was so happy.
It would not have made my list if that cat didn't make it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was really good. It didn't make my top 10, but it was right there. Like it's in the 10 to 15. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the reason I had it at 10 and not higher is because I think it was a really good movie. I just don't think it's a movie that I would necessarily go out of my way to rewatch.
Right.
I get that.
So that's kind of why it's
maybe rewatch or watch the first one.
Well,
the first one's really. I think
I enjoyed it.
The first one's really good.
Yeah, but what's the point? I saw the prequel and the second one. I've already seen the beginning and the end. What do I need the middle for?
Well, you got a turn
on a you can watch that and Carry On.
Yeah.
2 years from now.
2 years.
All right, my number 10 was Conclave. I know neither of you probably saw this, but it was a movie.
You were telling us about last podcast, right?
Probably. I saw it with my mom. It's the Pope dies, and they have to elect a new Pope. Stanley Tucci and Ralph Fiennes, the Lord Voldemort.
Yeah,
they're kind of like the two who are kind of running the. Ralph Fiennes is running the show of like the process of voting for a new Pope. So how it works is they like gather all the cardinals together, and they have to vote on which one of them becomes the new Pope. It's literally just like, who do you want to win? Write it on a piece of paper and put it in a box. And if you get a certain percentage, you become the Pope. But like, it's more, you never leave the building where I think it's in the Vatican. Like you never leave the setting and the place. Like you're not outside. Like you kind of feel claustrophobic and locked in with them for like the duration of the movie. But it's just like shot really well. The story's really good. It gets like intense because there's like politics involved, where somebody's getting a lead and then like it comes out that they had a scandal So they lose all their votes, and then somebody else starts getting a bunch of votes, and it comes out that they're a bad person. So like, and then it just goes through this whole like cycle. But there's this last minute cardinal that shows up out of nowhere, who was not like on anyone's list of cardinals who was supposed to be coming, but he had a letter from the Pope who just died saying that he was like the last cardinal that he, I don't know what the word is, but like basically made a cardinal. So he showed up, and he eventually is the one who, spoilers, becomes the Pope because his message is so new and so like give everyone a chance and make sure that, you know, we're being equal and fair to everybody and not like go back to like old man politics of, you know, it's about me and how we want to run things. But it's just really well shot, and like it's so dramatic and so like intense. It's hard to explain without seeing it. It's just like one of those movies like that. But I just really enjoyed it. My mom really liked it too.
Nice.
And you find out at the end that Pope is actually transgender.
Oh.
But you didn't know that until the end. So you don't have to go see it now.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was going to watch that after this.
You're welcome, everybody.
Well, shit.
All 15 of you.
All right.
That's my number 10.
All right. So number 9, I had Kung Fu Panda 4.
Kung Fu. Oh, I saw that. I didn't write that down.
I did
saw
see that.
with you. I saw that one twice, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was fun. I liked it. Again, the end of my list is not really like as bad. It's just I saw them because I thought they'd be fun, and I didn't see enough to have a list. So
Makes sense.
it was a fun movie. I don't think it was I think it may have been the weakest of the 4. But it was still, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I don't really have much to say.
My number 9 is The Wild Robot.
Oh man, my number 9 too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wild Robot.
Also, I truthfully didn't know anything going into it. I couldn't tell you. I thought the trailer was something completely different. Before we went to go see it, Cassie was like, "What's it about?" And I described something, and I must have watched the wrong trailer because it was not the movie that we saw.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but that's like the top 3 I wanted to see.
It's worth watching.
Yeah.
Again, it's towards the bottom of my list because I don't know that it's one that I'm going to go out of my way to rewatch. However, it was good enough to make the top 10. The animation was pretty good. The story was pretty good. It's a good kids family movie, but it was a little bit more heartwarming and sentimental than I would have expected coming from that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't know what it was going to be about, but that wasn't it. Not that I'm disappointed with it. I'm glad that it was what it was.
I remember from the trailers, when I saw the trailers, there was no like audio or like.
Yeah, I thought it was a silent movie.
So I had the same thing, and I was really excited for that part of it too.
Like
I can tell you that it's not a silent film.
They talk a lot.
They talk a lot.
Interesting.
It's a little while to get there, but they do talk a lot.
Yeah.
The first 15, 20 minutes is pretty quiet.
Yeah.
All right. It's been showing up in my TikTok feed.
It's worth watching.
Yeah, like Colby said too, the animation is like really good. It has like that like crisp, almost like Pixar look to it.
Yeah.
And it's just like nice to see like a new take.
It's a
like
different
a new movie.
Yeah, it's a different type of movie. It's like it's not something that I watched and I was like, oh, I've already seen this kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like it's very different.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Amelia and Kate both enjoyed it. We obviously went as a family. It's a family movie for sure.
You have a family?
Then what?
You have a family?
Sometimes.
Oh boy, that's not the response I was expecting.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming. Just like the Wild Robot.
It was probably one of the most surprising movies for me too. Like I was excited for it, but like I wasn't like can't wait to see that. And then I saw it and I was like, wow, that was like exceptionally good. And it's 95 minutes. Like I'm a big fan of those these days. So keep them coming.
You're in and you're out. I love them.
Cool. All right, so
2 matches.
My number 8 was Venom 3.
Cool.
I liked that. I had fun with it. I didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything serious going into it. But there was that like action scene at the end with all the symbiotes, and I thought that was cool, and that's kind of like what I remember the most from that movie.
Yeah, that was good. I didn't like the acid bath ending. It was a little ridiculous.
The James Bond. Oh, we have a big tub of acid in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because that's how they.
Oh, we're the military. That's what we do.
Because that's how they'd get rid of Area 51. They wouldn't just nuke it.
Right.
Nope.
Acid.
You know, I also find it hard to believe that the military would let Area 51 be invaded to begin with, but
right.
No.
Yeah. Right.
They also had that like music video send off to Venom, where Tom Hardy's like walking through New York, like reminiscing. I was like, okay, like
so
let's wrap it up here, guys.
I loved every second of it.
Like they went full cheese at that point, and like he can't. He was like only able to be tracked if he was Venom, and he decided to like let them know the location by dancing
to ABBA.
Like
they
crazy.
had to get the rights to use Dancing Queen.
Crazy
for that. It's awful, and I loved it.
You know what that tells me is they got the rights before they even made the movie.
For sure,
they were
probably.
Like,
oh, absolutely. They would not have gotten the approval.
Like, guys, there's nowhere to put it.
How do we get it in there?
Somebody's like, but what if?
Let's bring Miss Chen in for this.
That's what that was. That's what that tells me is they got the rights prior to the movie.
That's when I think I could work on movies. I'm like, I could come up with that idea.
Yeah, like all right, we need somebody to fit in this specific thing, and you're like, okay, but like,
use an idea.
Hear me out.
After James Bond enters the place.
Oh, you know how many people had to sign off on that just to get it made too?
Oh, I know.
So many people.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's Andrew's number 8.
Yes, it is.
My number 8 is The Fall Guy.
See, I didn't get to see this one.
That's one I wanted to.
So, I didn't really. The trailer looked pretty good from what I saw, but I didn't really have many expectations going into it.
Mm-hmm.
It did everything that I wanted from an action Ryan Gosling kind of movie. You know what I mean? Like, it was. Yeah. I mean, Emily Blunt was in it, and she's pretty great. So, obviously, it's going to be an okay movie.
But I like the marketing they did for that one. Like they were both ripping on each other for Barbenheimer.
Yeah, and so like it's worth the watch. It's a fun action movie. There's some mystery to it. You can kind of start to solve some of the mystery before you're supposed to, but that's the kind of movie it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a top tier movie, but it's fun, and like I'm getting to the point in these movies where I would rewatch some of these, and that's one of those movies like if I'm scrolling through the channels and it happens to be on, I'll sit there and I'll watch it. It was entertaining. It was funny. I had a good time watching it.
I heard it was Aaron Taylor Johnson's best role this year.
It might be one of his best roles of all time, actually. And that's not saying much.
Well, he did Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass was awesome.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. My number 8 was The Substance. Did you guys see that?
Never heard of it.
So that came out this year. It's like a body horror movie. I think I said it to you guys last time.
You might have mentioned it. I forget things. My
Demi
brain's
Moore,
so sweet.
Demi Moore is she's basically like an aging out actress. Like she's getting older, and people want like the young hot model of her, and she's the older falling apart model. Mm-hmm. She gets into like a car accident and goes to the doctors, and like this weird nurse is like, I can make you feel better with this, you know, here's this secret medicine that you can take, and you can be younger and vibrant again. So she decides to take it. I
remember that.
Yeah, and it's called The Substance. So you like, essentially she took it, and the rules of the substance are that like you get to be like young and hot for a week, but then you have to go back to your old body for a week. And like,
yeah,
you can go back and forth every week and nothing will go wrong. But obviously when she becomes like hot and young and successful again, she wants to be in that body longer. So she like tries to manipulate the time she can spend in it, but that has costs that come with going back to her other body. It starts to like disfigure and stuff like that. So like it's more of the storyline of like, what would you do? Like, what would you make that choice or not to be young and hot and like back in the spotlight and being successful, or would you stay yourself, you know, and what the consequences are of doing either one? But like,
Yeah.
it's crazy body horror type stuff. Like the second body she like gives birth to, like a full adult gives birth to like another full adult in the beginning of it, and like it like crawls out of her back, like, and it's like blood, and yeah, it's fun.
It sounds
Just
it.
described Alien Romulus.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that, except without the aliens.
There you go.
But enough about Alien Romulus. That was The Substance, number 8.
All right. Well, number 7. I had A Quiet Place Day 1 at number 7.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that one. Like we've already talked about it, but I liked it. Yeah.
It's a movie that deserves like a top 10 list. It just depends on how many movies you've seen, basically.
Correct. Yeah. I think if I had more, it still would have stayed on my top 10.
Yeah. If I had less, like I said, it was in that 10 to 15. There's just like a couple movies that I'm like, I'd watch that again first.
My number 7 is Civil War.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you saw that one.
That was the other one in my top 3 that I'd wanted to see.
Now, it's not necessarily something I would rewatch multiple times because it's kind of an intense movie.
It's like a dire situation movie.
But I think it was pretty well filmed and filmed from a point of view that we haven't really seen. So in case you're not familiar, it follows the World War III is breaking out within America itself. It's literally another second
near future
American Civil War. And the whole premise of the movie is you're following the events of these reporters who are trying to report the war, and they want to get to the White House to interview the president before half the country decides to invade Washington D.C. and assassinate the president. And so these reporters are just trying to get to him so they can interview him about why the war broke out, why he made the decisions he did, etc., before he gets assassinated. So it's a race against the clock.
Yeah.
Because as they're getting closer, so are the forces, I don't know if you want to call them the Allied forces, I don't remember what side was what, but they're getting closer to Washington, D.C. So it's just a race against the clock to whoever can get there first. And so it was kind of interesting to see a war developing and stuff through the point of view of journalists. They don't have a side. They're not picking a side. They adamantly are neutral throughout every conflict they get involved in, regardless of how sketchy or scary certain things become for them. So it's just kind of interesting to see how persistent journalists will be to get a cover story. And that's really what it is. It's just they will literally go to the ends of the earth to get what they are seeking.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the state of the world that we live in right now. It's kind of realistic. Not necessarily America being in a civil war, but there's a lot of themes throughout this movie that it's almost like too real. It's it's really close to home, and you're like, oh my god, like this really isn't that far fetched, which is kind of terrifying.
It's not crazy.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth watching. There's a couple scenes in the movie that you're like, holy shit, I can't even believe that I'm watching this right now.
Yeah.
It's worth watching. It's very intense. Again, it's not something I don't think I'll go out of my way to rewatch, but it was very unique and deserves a spot on a top 10 list.
Yeah, there's like there's a sequence in the middle of the movie where the news reporters like pull up into this field or whatever, and they find these like 2 American snipers, and they're like hidden, and they're like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we're shooting at the house over there. And they're like, why? And they're like, because they were shooting at us. And they were like, do you know who's in there? And they're like, no, but they were shooting at us. So we're going to shoot at them. And like, you just like hit, it wasn't worded that way, but it just hit you as like, they have no idea what they're doing, why they're doing it. It's just those guys in there shooting at us. So we're going to shoot at them.
That's actually a great example because that is pretty much the premise of the movie. They don't go in depth on to which side is what and who's fighting who for what reason.
Nope.
That's not the premise of the movie. The premise of the movie is the country is divided and they just need to make it through the country without being killed to get to the president to interview.
Yeah.
It's not important why they're fighting.
No.
They don't pick sides. They don't discuss why the sides are doing what, which almost makes it even scarier because, like he was saying, they're like, I don't know, they shot at us, so we shoot at them.
Yeah.
Like, for all they know, it could be their own guys in that house.
Yeah.
They don't know. Who care? They were
It's
like,
like
we got shot. Well, this is it.
It's like one of the best
Sorry.
5 minutes of film this year that's not talked about. Because it's just like,
I think it got talked about for like a solid week, and then it just kind of flew under the radar.
yeah.
And it definitely deserves a higher spot. I think more people should see it.
Really good acting performances by like who is it? Kirsten Dunst is like the main actress. And then Kaylee Spaney is the younger one who's also an Alien Romulus as the main character. And then best cameo of the year, Jesse Plemons, who shows up and just tears up the screen for like 5 minutes in like the most intense way possible, and then it's just never seen again. So it's like crazy. And I heard a story that so Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons are married in real life.
Yeah.
And the role that Jesse Plemons played, no actor wanted it because you basically come in and you do a 5-minute scene and you're just a piece of shit. So that could like ruin an actor's career. So Kirsten Dunst like called in a favor and was like, Jesse, you're doing this. Like, we need an actor to do this and you're doing it. Yeah. And he's great.
Good.
Like if you
Breaking Bad, it's literally his character in Breaking Bad, but on steroids.
Yeah. And like you know what's coming as he's saying it, and you're like, come on, dude, don't say the wrong thing here. And then he says the wrong thing, and you're like, no, what did you do?
You can see it unfolding, but you know it's not. There's no stopping it.
No.
You know it's going to happen, but you can't stop it. And so you're forced to sit there and just wait.
It's one of those movies that makes you talk at the screen too. Like some movies don't have that effect. But this is one of those movies where you're like, dude, don't do that. Why did you? How come he did? Why are you doing? Like, oh, stop! Like, it's a good choice.
That's one that I wanted to see. Yeah, like actually.
Yeah,
I know I said that. I've said that for every one of them. But
they don't really go in depth into the sides of the war, who's fighting what, and half the people that are fighting are just normal citizens.
Yeah,
it's not military pit against military. It's citizens versus military mixed in with cops and other citizens. It's like, oh, I had a gun and I'm on this side, so here I am.
Which it sounds very timely from how you guys are describing it. Yeah,
that's what's so weird about it is like you could pitch this movie 10 years ago and you'd be like, something like that could never happen.
Yeah,
but you look at it now and you're like, it's kind of scary how not far away from stuff like this that we are.
Yeah, neat.
It's worth watching.
Cool. Definitely watch it.
All right.
Steve, what's your number 7?
My 7 is a little classic I like to call Snack Shack. Have you guys ever heard of this?
Never heard of it.
Oh, I heard of that one.
It's on Amazon Prime. So it's basically like a teenager coming of age movie where these like two best friends are basically like rejects and they don't fit in school, and they like, you know, they're like 15 and 16, but they like smoke cigarettes and drink beer and skip school to go to like the racetrack to bet on horses, like just, you know, those kind of kids. But they want to make
just like us.
They want to make money, so they decide to rent out the Snack Shack at the local swimming pool for the summer to make money. And then obviously like there's a girl that becomes involved, and then there's another side character who's like trying he's in the military and he's back from the military and he's like trying to straighten them out, and like the story progresses. But like it's just one of those like fun, like really comedic, really like high octane, just like hangout movies. that you just like enjoy watching. All the actors are really good and funny. It has like one of those like endings that you don't see coming kind of thing, and it's just like fun and enjoyable, like a good sit, just sit, watch, laugh. So
I haven't seen that movie, but I think my sister might have watched it, and I walked in at the end of it, so I know what you mean about the ending.
yeah,
So I didn't know it was a comedy up until that point, so
Yeah.
that's reassuring.
it's like a 90-minute comedy with a 20-minute banger of an ending. And you're
Yeah.
like, whoa, okay, didn't know it was gonna take
Uh-huh.
that left of a turn, but like
Yeah.
it's really good and it's free, so
Yeah.
definitely watch it if you can.
Cool.
I had a lot of fun with it. Like I was surprised that it would make my top 10, but like as I was writing my list, I was like, would I rather rewatch that or something else? And I was like, I would much rather watch like the poop and shit jokes of that movie than some of the other movies. So
Gotcha.
it was fun.
All right.
That's Snack Shack, available now on Prime Video for free. My number
We are not
7.
sponsored by Amazon.
No.
Get out of here, Bezos.
All right, number 6. My 6th place spot went to Twisters.
Twisters.
I
I've seen it.
I've seen it.
I saw that one. Like I saw all of these. But I saw that one the night.
You saw it in a Twister?
Not in a Twister, but we had a really bad windstorm here.
Category 5.
It was in like mid-August. Steve, was this when did your house collapse?
Thanks. I don't know.
Okay.
It was August 10th-ish.
Okay, so after that, but not actually. No, it might have been the same storm. Because we had it, but it wasn't as bad here as it was there.
Yep.
And honestly, I wouldn't remember this if what had happened to me hadn't happened. But my house, like, the storm was happening outside, and the lightning hit. What is the name of it? It hit something outside my house, and there was a really big. Yeah, and then like we saw that like the sky like turned like blue for a sec. Like,
guys, it's a transformer.
Right. And then I also
couldn't help it.
I also got into a car accident on the way to that movie, so it was an immersive experience.
The same storm that destroyed Steve's house flew Andrew right into the theater.
It did.
I had fun.
And I'm like, oh my god, where's Marky Mark?
I had fun with Twisters for sure.
I did too, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Just a fun, like if it was on, I'd watch it, but like I wouldn't be like, wow, I have to sit back and watch Twisters.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
I went back and watched Twister after because I'd never seen it.
Yeah,
and it's pretty fun. I like it. I like it too because it's Bill Paxton, big fan. He's in it. He's one of the main characters. So,
for reference, he's referring to Twister singular, not Twisters plural.
CC.
What's the next one going to be? Twisters with 2 S's?
Twisters.
Yes.
Twisters.
Twister squared.
Oh yeah, like aliens.
Or like it'll be like Beetlejuice. It'll just be Twister.
Twisters asterisk.
Twister sandwich.
Yeah.
Nice choice.
Thanks.
Where are we at? 6?
Yes.
6.
I'll go 6. So my number 6 is your guys' number 1. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Bold assumption, but okay.
I don't think that's Andrew's number 1.
No, it's probably not.
I think it's Wicked.
Well, they're both in your top 5s, unless it's Colby's 6, which I doubt it. But
You'll never know.
It's I'll know soon. It's
We'll
it was a lot of fun. I mean the 5 movies above it, I mean below it, like they could go either way. But like I feel like you can only watch Deadpool Wolverine a couple times. Like you can't watch it you can't watch it on repeat either.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I know all the Chris Evans of it all and the Blade of it all, and like the silly fart jokes would get old eventually. But like I do think it helped Marvel with the next 5-year plan for sure.
Absolutely.
Jokes on you.
Yeah.
Those will never get old.
because farts will always be
Farts
funny.
they will always be funny.
But I had a lot of fun, so I put it at number 6. I was
That's very fair.
surprised that it got that low, to be honest. But the other movies above it, I was just like, I had like a couple of them were like, oh, I didn't know this was going to be so good, and it like caught me in a different way. Whereas my anticipation for Deadpool Wolverine was building for like literally 2 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe more.
yeah. So
my number 6 was Bad Boys Ride or Die. All
I
right.
didn't see this one.
Now,
I heard it was good though.
previously had only ever seen the third Bad Boys. This is the fourth one. For
Oh,
context.
you told me about this one.
So I had never seen the original 2.
Why do you see like
Um,
2s and 3s, but not 1s and 2s?
Because whenever I see something that has
Because they're not releasing 1s and 2s.
No, for correction, unless it's Star Wars, if it has a 19 in front of it, I'm not interested. I don't even know when those movies came out, to be honest with you. But so this movie was actually the reason I have it like closer to the top, because the rewatchability on this movie is pretty high. It is a stupid, fun buddy cop action movie. Now, when this first came out, it was I believe this is Will Smith's first movie after the whole
The slap
incident
around the world.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I think
which
this
started the
was his
revolution.
first movie after that, and I know it was not performing great because of I think a lot of
That.
people were not interested
Yeah.
in seeing a Will Smith movie. And that was one of the reasons I couldn't have cared less to go see it in the theaters. I'm like, it's Bad Boys. I'm not going to waste my time going to see this. And I think I watched it on a plane ride. I was like, it was one of those movies. I was like, you know what? Sure, it's free. I'll watch it. And Will Smith was actually not horrible in it. But what made it so funny was Martin Lawrence's character the entire movie. Again, it's really stupid, but it was all about, he's like, did you notice? He's like, I just can't die. He's like, I'm invincible. Everything I do, no matter what happens, I don't die. Like, he would get shot at, he wouldn't die. He would get, a car would almost run him over or something, he'd be standing there, he'd be fine. So, like, it wasn't like a 1, 2, 3 punch kind of movie. Like, they made this joke like 9 times throughout the movie. And it was one of those jokes that you would think would get old really quick.
Yeah.
But
it just kept building more and more and more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love those like through line jokes. Though.
Yeah,
like I said, like the carry on, the baggage claim. Like, it's just funny every time.
Like I said,
if you do it right.
One of those ones,
right.
It's not one of the ones that you'd think would be that funny. You'd be like, all right, after like the third time, you'd be like, this is really stupid. It doesn't make sense in this movie. Where it doesn't belong in this kind of movie. But that's what made this movie so good, is that it was so stupid that it was hilarious. So I think it's worth watching if you're interested in a buddy cop hilarious action movie. That movie's worth a watch.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on streaming now.
Yeah, for free.
Cool.
Well, for $12.99 a month.
Yeah, if you have
yeah, whatever you pay, because we all pay different prices.
All right. Moving on to our top 5.
Top 5, baby.
So my top.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You can finish. You were saying.
No.
All right. I insist, please.
No, I'm surprised Deadpool Wolverine didn't make my top 5. It's just outside.
Just not a real fan.
My number 5 is Inside Out 2.
No way, that's my number 5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I really liked that movie. It was very good.
I really liked it too. Wild Robot was my animated choice though. So
Anxiety was my favorite part of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Anxiety was so funny. Like every time Anxiety was on screen, that was my favorite part.
That movie, they should not be that relatable. Those movies are way too relatable.
Yeah.
That
was Maya Hawke played Anxiety.
Yeah.
She's from she's Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter, but
Stranger Things, yeah. Yeah.
She was really good. She had that like anxious tone and voice the whole time.
She did.
Yeah.
It was great.
I also thought Ennui was a really funny character.
Oh my god, yeah.
Ennui. I thought That was a good character. Again, anytime they were on screen, I was just laughing. It was a good time. Good movie.
Oh man, those were that was just so funny.
Good stuff.
I'm tired. Yeah.
All right, Steve, you're number 5.
My number 5 was Alien Romulus.
Ah,
There it is.
Yep,
there it
yep.
is. I knew it was going to be on your list.
I saw Alien Romulus I saw Prometheus, and Alien Romulus was the second Alien related movie that I had ever seen. Since then, I've seen Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Like yeah, exactly. And now thinking about Alien Romulus, I was like, oh, they have a formula, and they use that formula, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like that's kind of what Alien Romulus is, except with a new cast, and instead of being like adults, they're just a bunch of teenagers who shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what made it fun. Was that it was just like a bunch of dumb teenagers. It wasn't like smart people who were supposed to go into space and find things out and do science experiments. It was like a bunch of teenagers just trying to get off a planet, and they encounter aliens. So the special effects were great. There was like that one sequence in like a hallway where they had to try to get from one end to the other. That was just like one of the things they set up earlier in the movie was like, oh, they're going to use that again. And then you get to that hallway scene and you're like, they're going to use the thing. They're going to use the thing from earlier. And they do. And it like looks awesome.
Nice.
And then you think the movie's over and there's like a live birth. That's just like
insane.
I
thought the movie ended. There was like 2 separate points where I thought the movie could have ended.
It was one of those like, oh, gotcha. There's still 15 minutes. Oh, gotcha. There's still 5 more minutes. And that whole sequence at the end was very crazy and insane, disturbing. And disturbing, but like a lot of fun in the right way.
Yes. So. I will add on top of what you were talking about, where you saw this and then you went and watched a bunch of the other ones. That's when you know you made a good movie. When somebody goes to see your movie that's so late in the franchise and they watch it and they go, well, now I'm going to go back and rewatch all your other ones.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've made a good movie. Right. Now, I'm not saying your movie is the best thing that's ever been made, but it's compelling enough that it draws people in.
Yeah.
That's how a franchise should work.
And to go backwards. Like that many years, because the first one was like 76 or something.
I was gonna say 77 or something.
Yeah, so 77. We're talking 50 years ago. Like, and I went back and was like, whoa, and I was like, this is awesome, and I kept going.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right, and you'll know what I mean once you start watching. If you watch a couple of them, you're like, oh, they have a formula, and they work. They tweak it and they make changes to it, but like. They go with the formula.
You can see it.
Yeah. And you watch it and you're like, well, that was great. Now let's do that again. So, yeah. That's my number 5. I didn't expect it to be in my top 10. Even going to driving to see it. I was like, this will be fun, but like it won't.
Yeah.
I won't talk about it again. And then I made Kate go and she was like, what are we going to see? Because she just goes to the movies now. She's like, if we have 2 hours, we'll go, and then she'll wait till we get there.
She's like, I'll take a popcorn.
Yeah,
sure.
And she's like, I'll just sit for 2 hours. And I'm like, we're going to see Alien Romulus. And she's like, oh, cool.
All right, yeah,
this is going to be great. And even she was like, that was pretty cool. Like, that was fun.
Yeah.
So, definitely fun.
All right, Andrew, number 4. Hit us up.
Number 4. My number 4 is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow.
Whoa!
3 movies ahead?
There are 3 movies ahead of it.
It had to be 1 or 2. Right. That was the only option.
All right. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I knew you'd be surprised. So, well...
And he hasn't even said Despicable Me 4 yet.
No,
this is true.
And I know
this is true. Yeah. Anyway, this Deadpool and Wolverine. I think the reason that it was at number 4 for me was because I had a lot of anticipation going into it. It still met that, but the 3 that are above this just took me by surprise more. Like, I knew I was going to like Deadpool and Wolverine, but the 3 that I have above it were, like, interesting. Like, wasn't going...
Not judging, just...
I don't want to give away the rest of my list.
I know 3 movies he's seen. But he also said that he's not sure if he wrote them all down.
That's true.
Me too.
I'd like you to guess it right now, and I'm not going to react at all. In fact, wait. Okay.
I'm gonna say it's Dune Part 2, Despicable Me 4, and whatever the Green Witch one is.
Wicked.
Yeah, with Ariana Grande.
And that means that he didn't write down Furiosa.
I know, I was thinking about that too. He either didn't write Furiosa or Dune 2, but there's no way he missed the other two. So I'm saying Dune 2, Despicable Me, and then Wicked.
I think Wicked's at the top.
Can I open my eyes yet?
You can open your
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome.
Number 4. That's
Welcome.
great.
For audio listeners,
pick.
I just turned my camera off so they couldn't see my reactions.
Welcome back, everybody.
Oh, you were
And-
you were still
We had
there.
a moment there. We had a moment.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so yeah, Wolverine.
We were just
Number
reading the room.
4.
My number 4 is Furiosa.
Nice.
Still have never seen any of the other Mad Max movies.
You need to see Fury Road. Fury Road is awesome.
Steve,
Yeah.
I'm keeping up with a tradition here. Is I just see things halfway through the sagas. All right.
If there was one I would tell you have to go see though is Fury Road.
You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to watch Blade Runner 2049.
You should. I heard
Anyways.
that's really good.
Anyways, so yeah, I put Furiosa. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. In my head, I was like, "It's just going to be a bunch of people fighting over sand." And matter of fact, it was not. So it was pretty good.
There was some banger sand movies this year.
I think Chris Hemsworth really stole the show in that.
It's a good genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I will say we were Anya. Is it Anna or
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. She was like in all the marketing and all the trailers and all the promotional stuff, all the interviews, and we're like an hour and 10 minutes into that movie and she's not in it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
am I not at the right movie?
Yeah, what happened?
Like,
And then she shows up.
She's nowhere to be found for literally half of the movie. Mind you,
Mhm.
I didn't look, but it felt like a more than 2 hour movie.
Yeah. I think it is.
So yeah, that was a little weird. I was like, I could have swore I didn't just have a fever dream and she was in this. Once you got into it, though, it picked up. But like I said, I think Chris Hemsworth really carried that movie.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Good choice.
What's your
I
number
didn't do
4?
mine yet.
No, you haven't.
My number 4 is a movie from beginning of the year called Challengers. Did you guys see this?
Okay, no, I didn't see it, but I
I
heard good
didn't.
things.
This is the Zendaya tennis movie.
This is the movie that I'm in.
You're in it,
I think so.
but you haven't watched it, so you don't know if you're in it.
No, yeah. I told everyone I was gonna go see it so they could know if it was worth seeing or not.
What were you around?
She and this is a very well a scene that could have been cut. She's walking to her car and getting into the car.
She does
and
that
there's paparazzi.
She does that a couple times.
Yeah,
That's
so
rather vague.
I have not seen the movie, so I cannot confirm whether or not I'm in it, but I did record for it.
Really, really good. Really, didn't expect it to be good because when I saw trailers and the first thing you think is don't let Tom Holland go to this movie.
Yeah, right.
They show you the sequence where she makes out with 2 dudes, and you're like, well, I don't know what this is gonna be. So it's basically a love triangle movie. She's tennis star. She's like Serena Williams, basically. But then she gets hurt. So then the 2 dudes are very good at tennis as well. So she kind of mentors and coaches them, but they're also kind of in a love triangle. But it's
This
just
Is she married to one of them?
she
might
is
be a
married to
stupid
one of them.
question.
Yeah.
Is this based off a true story?
I don't think so.
No, it's not. I remember when we were on set, the only thing they told us was that it was a Zendaya movie about tennis.
Yeah.
And that was not enough information.
The tennis is very much in the background of this movie.
Okay.
You need it in the soup because that's what it's based around, but it's more like an intense drama between the 3 of them. It's shot like exceptionally well. The sound is insane. Like the all the little things that went into it make it an incredible movie. And the acting, like everyone was like working at 110%. Like the camera guy, the boom guy, the actors, the extras, like you can tell that high quality movie was made with a high quality director. You know, high quality storyline. Like everything is just high quality about it. But it ultimately is just like a big drama love triangle that is worth watching. And Zendaya is really, really good in it.
Cool.
Really good.
Nice.
My number 4, it was just surprisingly good movie.
Yeah. I don't know if, like, I know that's one again I wanted to see it, mostly because I was in it, but also I don't know if I would have put it that high, so I am interested by that.
It's currently free on Prime Video.
Oh, well, keep that in mind. Yeah. Did we lose Colby?
I don't know what happened. Maybe he's...
Well, I don't know if I want to...
We'll see if he pops back real quick.
Yeah, we'll give it a minute there.
Because we're top 3 territory now.
Yeah, this is like, if you don't want to...
We have to see if his top 3 votes are correct.
Correct, yeah. So...
What were some of the movies that you wanted to see that you didn't get to? Oh, never mind.
Well, we'll just answer that quickly. The wild robot was the one that I wanted to see.
Put your clothes back on.
Oh God, sorry.
I missed it.
You missed it.
I don't think this can go on YouTube.
Oh, we'll be all right.
But Spotify's fine. All right, so top 3. My number 3, as Colby accurately predicted, was Dune 2.
Oh, I knew it, man. I knew it. Now, you forgot about Furiosa.
When I'm looking at my list right now, I think I would have... I'm going to keep what I had, but I think I would have switched this and Deadpool and Wolverine just because of the rewatchability. I don't know if I could sit and watch Dune 2 if it wasn't in a movie theater.
It's almost 3 hours.
Yeah, and then Deadpool and Wolverine is more lively. But
so, did you is that correct then? You forgot about Furiosa, I'm assuming?
I'm not saying anything yet.
It's okay. You can tell us with your eyes.
Can you imagine if you forgot Despicable Me 4?
There's no way.
Right. You might have. You never know.
I don't want to give it away.
Okay. All right. Anywho.
I need to catch myself.
Now we lost Andrew.
No, I'm here still. I just turned my camera off. I'm just laughing so hard right now.
I could see his movie list in his eyes. He told me everything he needed to say.
In the reflection of his glasses.
That's what I thought he meant there. All right.
No. In your soul.
Yeah, sorry. Cool. Yeah, Dune 2. It was a great movie.
Well done.
Also with Zendaya.
And Anya Taylor-Joy.
And Anya Taylor-Joy,
5 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't even remember her in that.
She was the sister. She's the sister.
The unborn baby.
The unborn baby he talks to.
Who's going to give birth.
That's right.
She's supposed to be born like an adult.
Yeah, she's in like the visions or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like Zendaya was in the first one for like 19 seconds.
Oh my God. Dune 3 is going to be wild.
Apparently it's not going to be though, because the next Dune book is apparently like not an action-packed. It's more of like a drama, and they're like, how are we going to make this trilogy cool? Like,
I thought it was all one book.
Well, Dune Messiah, like it's like the third
part
of the book or whatever. But apparently everyone's like, the storyline kind of like, it doesn't give you the action sequences and parts that you need to like fire you up. So they're like, I wonder how he's going to do this, but we'll wait and see.
I don't like sound.
That's the only audio we play on here.
I ordered a podcast mixer board. So I'm going to have like sound effects and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Cool. One of them's just going to be McDonald's.
Kill.
Nice. We're cooking now.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3, Colby. Well, do you want to say anything about Dune Part 2, or are you good?
I just enjoyed it.
We'll talk about it more soon. So.
Yeah, I figured it'd be.
Yeah, it's coming up. My third pick is Gladiator 2.
Nice. It got that high for you? I'm surprised.
Well, so...
Just stop it right there. Colby, Have you seen Gladiator 1?
I have.
Haha.
When this
There you go,
trailer
as you were.
dropped, I got so excited that I went and watched the first one. Literally the day I saw the trailer. Anyways, I don't have the allegiance to the first one that a lot of people do because I watched it, obviously, 23 or 24 years later. However, I do. Yep, Steve did buy the Gladiator torso cup.
Yes, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Souvenir cup.
you might have
However,
shown that off in one of the episodes we did.
as similar as this movie is to the original, it's very parallel to the original movie. And if you've seen both of them, you'd know. But I think that it was a very entertaining movie. It's pretty action-packed. At no point in the movie was I sitting there bored. I'm also a big sucker for Pedro Pascal. I love him. Anything he's in, I will go see it. But I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was action-packed. There was a couple... I don't know if I want to call them twists necessarily, but there was a couple reveals that I thought were interesting, or at least intriguing. The only complaint that I have with the movie, we stated before, was the stupid sharks in the Coliseum.
Well, to be fair, all the CGI animals are brutal.
They are, but like
the sharks are the worst.
They had rhinos in Africa, so I mean, I don't know, but they definitely didn't have sharks in the Coliseum. But aside from that, yeah, I'd say the movie's pretty good. I don't, like I said, we're getting to the point where my top 3 aren't necessarily based off rewatchability, rather than my enjoyment when I saw them.
Yeah.
And so I think that Gladiator 2 doesn't necessarily follow the rewatchability category, but I think it was a very good, fun movie while I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, me and Colby saw it together at the cinema, like the IMAX theater in Providence, Rhode Island. That's like the only true IMAX theater around. So like the experience of that was cool because it was like stadium seating with the curved screen. Like it was intense, it was loud, it was right in your face.
So were you able to notice a difference compared to what we would normally see?
The screen was massive.
Yeah, the screen was a lot bigger. I don't think I'd make a trip there. Like I still love IMAX. Like I would just go to the Randolph one. Like unless it was like a Star Wars movie, like I feel like that could be pretty cool.
Something that was like
an epic movie.
Like when Christopher Nolan's Odyssey comes out, that's where we're going.
Go see something like that. I wouldn't do it for all your movies, but like specific ones for sure. For me, like the original Gladiator is like a top 10 movie for me of the last like 20 years, like whenever it came out. But it's always been like a movie I've watched like over and over and over again, and like the Russell Crowe of it all, and like the Joaquin Phoenix being Joaquin Phoenix, and like the plot lines and through lines throughout, just like really enjoyed it. So it's my own fault. I had way too high of expectations for the second one. Denzel's cooking. Like he is cooking in this movie. Like he's perfect for his role. He's playing like 2024 Denzel Washington in like a Roman movie, like a movie from, before Christ, like it's crazy what he's doing in this movie, but it's great. Pedro is good, but like he's underused. Like he should have had a bigger and better plot line.
Definitely underused.
And Paul Mescal, I wanted him to be a little bit better. He just didn't. He did fine in the sequences that he's in are good and the action is good, but like he has like a roaring speech at the end, and it was just like, okay, like
wasn't that roaring?
Yeah, like it should have been like epic, like the thing that you remember. And I was like, I don't know what he said, and like nobody got going after it, so it was just a little. I mean, I wrote it down. It's probably in my 15, like the 10 to 15 range again, but it just narrowly made it out of my top 10.
There you go.
We're at top 2. Andrew, is your second movie?
Wait, I didn't do my 3. I didn't do my 3.
4?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you did the 3.
No, I didn't do 3.
He was just talking about yours.
My number 3 is Civil War.
Okay.
Because it just...
I think you'd have that on your list.
Yeah, like it was... I saw trailers for it. I heard people talking about it on like other podcasts that I listened to, and they were like, nobody's going to see this movie. Nobody's talking about it, but it's like fantastic, and it's like well directed and well shot, and will like make you question and think about things during these times. And so I like went and saw it on a whim with Kate one day, and we were like both blown away by it. It was just like, whoa, like didn't expect that on a Tuesday night. Like one of those movies that was just like captivating all the way through. And like the Kirsten Dunst and Kaylee Spaney and like you're with like 4 or 5 main people for most of the movie.
It's like 3 or 4.
Yeah. But
it's
you
a
like
small group.
You really like bond to those people quickly and like you care about them. The movie does that really well. So like as the story progresses and you meet these new characters and you're like, there's no way the 4 of them make it to Washington. Like you're like, what's gonna happen along the way?
Yeah.
And it's just like it's like a road movie. Like, but it's like a really good. And like Colby said, it's just like it's a war movie, but it's not the perspective you get most of the time.
It's not about the war,
right? Like you're getting the journalist perspective. So like there are soldiers and there are sequences of battle, but you're not with them. You're with the people taking pictures of it, which is crazy that people would do that. So and that like there's it's just insane. They're unarmed civilians following soldiers into battle, like nuts. So it's just one of those experiences.
It really goes out of its way to depict how a journalist will risk their lives to share with the rest of the world what is happening.
Yeah. It's really cool, like when they're in the battle sequences. So they'll move along like a normal movie would, but then one of them will snap a picture, and it like would go to the picture. Yeah. So it's like a quick freeze, and then it like the sound cuts out, and then you go back to the battle, and the sound kicks in again. Like it was really cool how they filmed it, like an immersive experience for sure.
Like Steve was saying, I feel like a lot of people did not see this movie, and it is a movie that I think people needs to be seen. It's a very artful movie, and it deserves to be watched.
I have this week off, and I really have nothing planned, so I'm telling myself I'm gonna try and watch some of these. I know I won't, but if I get to it, that is gonna be one.
Yeah,
after Alien,
it's free on HBO.
Okay, good to know. All right, so
number
2s. My number 2,
Wicked,
is Wicked.
Wicked.
No way! What? Andrew, you did not put Despicable Me 4 is number 1.
He might not have.
I'm not gonna comment on that until we get to number 1. So, just to talk about Wicked for a second. This is the same kind of thing with Deadpool and Wolverine, where I knew I was gonna like it going into it. But I didn't know how much I was going to like it because everyone and their mother was saying it was such a great movie. And I went and saw it with my mother, and it was a very good movie. I saw it twice. I have plans to see it a third time. They're doing a sing-along version of it right now.
Nice.
And I don't care if I have to go to that one by myself, but I'm going to go to one of those. I might do better going by myself because I won't be as embarrassed if I'm with people I know.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, great movie.
Colby, have you seen it yet? Don't plan to.
No.
I mean, I've seen the other 3, and I thought they were great. I was gonna go see this one, I just never had the time.
Are we still talking about Wicked?
Oh,
he forgot I didn't say Despicable Me. Yeah.
No, I did not see this one, and I have no intentions on seeing it.
I think so, and I've said this before. I may have said this on our last episode, but this movie was based off of the first half of the musical. The first half has the better music. The second half has a more interesting story. It's much more Wizard of Oz like direct, and if they do as well as they did, I'm very excited. I think when we get to our Final Fantasy for next year, this is going to be a higher one on my list. Because I also didn't know this was coming out this year. Otherwise, I would have put it on my list.
Nice.
Yes. Number 2.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Dune Part 2.
Dune 2.
Oh.
You put Alien Romulus number 1?
I'm still here. You guys can keep talking. I just got to go check something.
Allegedly.
And So I have Dune Part 2 as number 2 because I think it was. I honestly liked it better than the first one. I thought the first one, there was a lot of slow moments, and there was a lot of characters, and there was a lot that I didn't know what the hell was happening. Like, if you looked away from the screen for like a minute or two, you would look back and you'd be like, I don't know what they're talking about, or who's that guy, or they're like dropping names, and it's like, I don't know who any of these people are. I think the second one was a little bit easier to follow. And I think it's a lot more interesting. Like, I think the action and stuff in the second one's a lot better. I think you kind of know what they're ramping up to. The first one, you're like not really sure what direction they're going into. Like, the House Atreides gets invaded, and you're like, okay, well, now what? And the movie just kind of ends on a cliffhanger, kind of like, they're gonna make a part 2.
3.
But a lot of times when movies do that, it's not necessarily the most satisfying ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the second one was a little bit more of, I know it's not the conclusion of the story, but I think it was a little bit more satisfying of a movie than the first one. And I have it at my second movie because I think that movie was very, very entertaining through and through from start to finish. I think it's worth watching, especially if you're into like sci-fi movies and stuff. Like Andrew was saying, I just don't know that movie has the rewatchability to it. Like, I don't know that I would ever sit down and be like, oh, what am I going to watch tonight? I'll put on Dune. I don't think I'm ever going to do that.
Yeah.
But I do think it was worthy of a top tier movie. I think it was a very well made movie.
Makes sense.
And we can't forget the popcorn bucket. That might be one of the most legendary popcorn buckets that the film industry will ever see.
I wish I got that one.
Everybody does.
It's like hundreds of dollars on eBay, I think.
Yeah, it's insane.
Crazy. Is it just my 2 now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Furiosa.
That makes sense.
I love Fury Road, so there was just no way I was gonna not like this because it's the same director. It's just, instead of, I mean, you're with Furiosa for the majority of Fury Road as well, but you also get Mad Max, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is just the younger version of this, is the origin story, basically. And like the opening 30 minutes is just awesome. Like, she gets kidnapped, and like mom has to like basically motorcycle dirt bike across the desert to save her, and then like saves her, and then gets captured and killed. Like, it's just like really good filmmaking for like the first half hour. It definitely has its moments where you're like, because there's like a part where there's a 60-day war or something, and that's just done in like a montage, and you're like, wait a minute, I wanted to see the 60-day, like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's like a, probably 45 minutes when it becomes Anya Taylor-Joy, and there's like, they finally go out on like the big oil rig from one spot to another, and there's like that 25-minute action sequence where they get attacked. Like, I was like giddy watching that, because I was like, this is what Fury Road is basically an hour and a half of that. Like, this is just the predecessor to that, where there's not as much of it. It's more of story building and stuff like that. But like, I remember when that sequence ended, I like turned to Andrew and I was like, that's why you go to the movies. Like, that's why we're here. Like, that's why we're here. That's why they still need to make this. That's why theaters need to exist. It's for like sequences like that.
It might have been, I was thinking of Dune 2. But I was just going to say, was that the movie where, because Steve is usually very quiet during movies.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually commentate.
No.
But there was a moment, and I can't remember if it was Furiosa or Dune 2, where you went, "Oh my god!" Like, you really didn't see something coming.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was Dune 2.
Probably.
Something was revealed there. But anyway, yeah.
But I just had like a hell of a time. I don't buy Blu-rays or DVDs anymore, really. I buy like 5 a year. Probably, just of like bangers. Like, last year was Top Gun Maverick. I was like, I need to own this. Like, in case I can't stream it somewhere, I want to have it to be able to watch it whenever I want. Furiosa was one of my purchases this year. So it's just like one of those movies that I want to be able to watch whenever I want. Chris Hemsworth is great in it. I think the nose was a little ridiculous. Like they didn't need to do the giant prosthetic nose, but other than that, just a hell of a time in the sand. I mean, my top 2 movies are just playing in the sand. I guess I've come to realize that like the sci-fi fantasy genre is just like where I need to live and exist.
It's just desert 90% of the time.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just a great place to shoot. And like we saw Furiosa
because it's mostly free.
Yeah. We saw Furiosa in IMAX, which like really ramped up like how good it sounded and how good it looked. And it was, I just had so much fun with it.
Nice.
Furiosa number 2.
Oh yeah. So I think for the number ones, you guys should go first.
Well, I'll just go because I said mine were playing in the sand. It's pretty obvious that Dune Part 2 is my number 1 of the year.
Yeah, we all saw that coming.
It's been number 1 since I saw it, and I was like, there's probably nothing that's going to overtake it. Dune Part 1, I like fell in love with immediately. Saw this one, and it was like, I mean, if 1 was that good, 2 was like just that much better. I think by the time, I want to hope by the time this is done, this is like a top 3 trilogy for me, like along with Lord of the Rings and probably like the Star Wars original trilogy kind of thing. I think it has that possibility. I just hope
it does have the potential. If they round it out well enough, it has potential.
Yeah.
So Colby and I went to Bingo right around the time this came out.
Bingo.
And the guy who hosted Bingo was like really into it. And he had said that this trilogy has like the potential to be like this generation's like Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
like just the hype of it could surround that, and I see that happening.
We also got
if it goes right.
You also got essentially the 5 biggest actors of the next generation in it, because you got Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Austin Butler is in this one, but he gets killed. Florence Pugh is going to be huge in the next one. Anya Taylor-Joy, like you have like the next generation of like big actors. So that makes total sense.
Cool.
But I enjoyed it. The only disappointing thing was that it wasn't in IMAX, because we went and we thought it was gonna be an IMAX, and we went for free. So I'm not gonna argue or complain about that.
That's right.
But I was like,
I forgot.
Wait, it's not in IMAX. Like,
I think it would have definitely been better though in IMAX. It would have propelled my experience.
When they inevitably re-release it in IMAX for like the next one, I will go see it.
They will
do that.
Yeah.
My
number 1, Dune 2.
All right, my number 1, pretty predictable. Deadpool Wolverine. Now, I have a lot of reasoning behind this. Okay. Now, I forget which one of you or if both of you were talking about it earlier in the podcast, but I do agree that I don't think this movie has that much rewatchability. I don't think it's there. When it got released on streaming, I tried to watch it, and about 25 minutes in, I kind of got bored. It's one of those movies where the reason it was so good the first time is you didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You didn't know what the next scene or what he was going to say or what the next joke was. But once you know everything that's coming, it kind of, it does really slow down. It almost comes to a halt. Because I think this movie was based on anticipation. That's what this movie was. It was all anticipation. And I think it nailed it. I think it nailed it perfectly fine. And I don't think it was necessarily the most well-shot movie, especially compared to like Dune or Furiosa or something like that.
Yeah.
But the reason I have it so high is because I think that this movie is one of the things that will propel the Marvel movies going forward. I think that this could change the direction of future Disney Marvel movies because they saw the success. They see what people like. They know what people like. It had the cameos people wanted that don't necessarily have to mean anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the cameos that are in this movie, they're not setting up the next 10 movies. It's just a fun cameo. People come out on screen. Everybody gets excited and screams and laughs. And that's kind of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not, oh my God, this is going to be the next villain for the next 5 movies. No, it doesn't have to be that. And I think that this is a great
Chris Evans showed up. He turned into a flame.
And then he left.
He died.
And that was it.
He's apparently coming back, too.
But I think I think this
I have
movie
thoughts on
was
that.
kind of what Marvel needed as, I don't want to call it a rebound movie, but it's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
They've been in a real lull for several years. I know we've
Yeah,
talked
they
about it
needed this.
endlessly, but I think that this movie has really propelled Marvel in the right direction. I think they learned a lot from releasing this movie.
Mhm.
I also think that just seeing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, and interacting with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool it was everything anybody could have wanted from that dynamic.
Mhm.
Like I said, I don't think it's necessarily the best well-shot movie or anything like that. And I don't think it has that much rewatchability. I just think that the importance of this movie for the future of Marvel movies is pretty great.
Yeah. And so with that, it's like we said earlier, these are our opinions too. Like this doesn't have to be,
Yes.
you know,
I mean, it made all 3 of our top 10s. It's not like it's a bad
It did.
movie. But
right,
yeah,
right.
I think it's a propeller for sure. I think it's
Mhm.
also a movie much better enjoyed with like a bunch of your buddies, just like sitting around where
Yep.
you're not sitting and directly watching it. It's kind of on, and you're like
Mhm.
queuing in
Yeah.
and queuing out, and you're like,
Right.
remember?
Yep.
Well, hold on, this is the part. This is the part. Cool, and like let's go over here and not watch it for 10 minutes. Like it's like one of those
Mhm.
movies you
Exactly.
could throw on if you were just like hanging out.
It's like a white noise kind
Yeah,
of thing.
and it's
Yeah,
great,
'cause
and you
there's
can
not
pop
really
in,
much
you
plot
can pop
to it.
out.
You don't have
Yeah.
to pay that much attention.
Right,
Mhm.
it's not Dune 2 where like you watch that sitting alone.
Like
like
I said, yeah, Dune, you look away for 2 minutes, you look back, and you're like,
where are we?
What
What
just happened?
planet are we on? Oh shit.
Mhm.
Like
who are these people?
yeah. But yeah, that totally makes sense.
Nice. All right. Well, so
Can't believe you did this.
this movie, I was not expecting to enjoy this movie as much as I did when I saw it. Which is why it's in my number 1 spot.
The Garfield movie.
It's oh, sorry, Furiosa.
No, it ain't. There's no way. No,
I
what?
did not. I did not see Despicable Me 4.
You didn't even see it.
Nope. Furiosa was my number 1.
Nice.
Mhm.
I didn't think you enjoyed it that much.
I did. I was very surprised by it.
Have you? But you haven't watched it?
No, there it is. I know it's inverted, but there it is.
No, you're good.
Oh my god, I
reads.
can't believe it.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm
I
shocked.
struggle to go to the movies by myself. That's not something I can do.
I could do it. It's great.
Yeah, Deadpool was the exception to that for me because I was in Alaska.
Yep.
And I didn't have anyone to go with. But here I have people who I can go with, and they just opt not to.
So,
So.
you actually didn't even see Despicable Me?
I didn't.
Oh my god,
It hurts me. It hurts very much for me to
Wow.
say that.
that's wild.
What a curveball.
My night's just rocked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, curveball for sure.
I wouldn't even have thought that you didn't see it.
Yeah, I know, right?
That wasn't even a
Yeah.
question in my
That's
mind.
why I had to keep it for last.
You really wow. This is the ending I didn't know I needed.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
didn't expect Furiosa to be your number 1.
No,
Yeah, I
I
really
didn't.
liked it.
I can see why though. It was a really
yeah, it's
good
a great,
movie.
great.
Where was it for you, Colby? Like 4?
I think I had it at it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, so I mean,
Mhm.
Let me
we got
look.
Yeah,
Two-
all at our
2,
top
1,
and
3,
4.
right?
2, 1,
Yeah.
and 4. That's
4.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't make anybody else's top 10 list because
Oh.
it didn't make any money. Like people
Right, I know.
didn't go and see this movie.
But that doesn't mean it's not a good movie.
No, I had a hell of a
right,
time.
exactly. Yeah.
I bought the disc. Like I bought the
There
Blu-ray.
are movies
Mhm.
movies that make a lot of money that should not make a lot of money.
Right. Like Moana 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, those were our top 10 movies.
Nice. That was surprising.
Took
That
us-
was good.
Was not
And-
expecting that to take an hour and 40 minutes.
We went over
I
our
did.
top 10 best. We went over our top 3 worst. Now I do have one shout out TV show.
Okay.
Now this show came out earlier in the year, and I had not watched it until recently. But upon watching it, I would also like to preface I did not watch too many new shows of 2024.
Mhm.
But my shout out TV show is Fallout.
Oh, I saw that. I forgot about that.
Yes. So
That show
I
is
had
awesome.
when the show first came
Yeah, I
out,
didn't
I had
see
watched the first episode, and then I just kind of it was put on the back burner because there was so much other stuff, and I kind of forgot about it.
I also did.
But I actually went
Mhm.
back and rewatched it, start to finish. I think it's like 8 episodes or something, about an hour each. I went back and rewatched it about a couple weeks ago, and it is a good time through and through. It's based off a video game. Video game adaptations for TV and movies are notoriously not good, with
Mhm.
few exceptions. And I think this being one of them. Now, I've played the Fallout games. I'm not like a diehard fan, so like I don't know all the lore and stuff like that. So there's probably a lot of people that play the games that watch the movie the show that are like, oh, this is like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But I think from the perspective of somebody that doesn't know too much of the lore or care, quite frankly, I think that you could watch this show and have a really good time with it. It's literally what it sounds like. It's a Fallout show. A nuke goes off, and these people are living in the fallout several hundred years in the aftermath. And it follows a journey of this girl's father gets kidnapped. She has to find him and figure out why he was kidnapped. And that's the premise of the show. It's very simple, very straightforward, but it's interesting. The whole like build up is very good. The reveal at the end of why he's kidnapped and the importance of it and everything, it's worth the watch.
Yeah, cool. they all like live in separate vaults underground, which is awesome.
Yes. And
underground stuff like that.
One of the reveals towards the end of the show, it explains the significance of the vault. Like, there's hundreds of vaults, and it explains the significance of each vault, which is also important in the games. I know that for a fact is accurate to the games.
Yeah.
But I think it's if you don't know anything about it, when they get to those reveals, you're kind of like, oh my god, like I can't even like. It's what a wild premise. It's definitely worth watching. Like I said, it's only like 8 episodes. I know they've already planned a season 2. I think it was like announced right after the first season ended. But if you're ever bored and want to kill a couple hours, just turn on the first episode, and I promise you'll be hooked.
Yeah.
So I recently, as in like the past 3 days, season 2 of Squid Games came out. I don't know if either of you saw the first season.
Yeah, I watched season 1.
It was season 2 was really good. I got 1 episode left. And they released it, I think, the 26th.
They did like
the day after Christmas.
Is it like a dump? They dumped all the episodes?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I feel
it's
like
only
those
7
types
episodes.
of shows, they kind of have to.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Like even when it trails off a little, they end each episode like
so you
want to get to the next one. Yeah. Like I was like it was like 11 o'clock last night, which for me is late. And like the credits started, and I was like, seriously? I'm like, I don't want to have to wait till tomorrow, but I'll probably watch that when we get off here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Fallout's the only thing I watched this year, like through and through. Shout out to Walton Goggins, the guy who plays the ghoul.
He's phenomenal. He's one of those
He's
actors
awesome.
that I kind of forget exists until I see him in something.
Mm-hmm.
And every
He's
time
awesome.
he pops up in something, you're like, oh, I love this guy.
That dude's the best. He's like the best character actor of all time, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I always forget he exists until he pops up in something.
Yeah, he's just like, he's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like not because he's bigger than that guy, but like he's that guy.
He's that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
He's got the swag.
Yeah. Do you guys ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
No,
but I've heard good things about
He
it.
shows up like randomly, like maybe like 4 or 5 episodes total in the whole run of the show, but he plays like a prostitute who like he's Walton Goggins, but he dresses like a woman and plays a prostitute, and one of the dudes is just into him, but he has like giant fake boobs.
Is it like a reoccurring character? Is he the same character
literally,
in each
like,
episode, or is he different?
He shows up in one, like maybe say season 2 for like 1 episode, and then you see him again in like season 4 for like 2 episodes, and then he's back in season 6 for 10 minutes. But it's great. Every time he shows up, you're like,
awesome.
there he is. It's Walton Goggins. Like
that's cool.
But he just has like fake boobs, and he's dressed like in a dress, but he looks like Walton. Like nothing's changed up top. Like he's just Walton Goggins. Like so funny.
That's pretty cool. I like that very much.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a couple just like want to run through of like things I saw that didn't make my 10 that like are worth watching.
All right. You would do that, and I already started doing the averages for this, so you can do that. I'll do that while you do this.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Inside Out 2 clearly didn't make it, but great, as we all said. Trap, which is like the M. Night Shyamalan, Josh Hartnett vehicle that came out over the summer or late summer. That was fun. Heretic, which was like that.
Oh, I really wanted to see that one.
Hugh Grant horror movie that came out a couple months ago. Definitely worth watching. I enjoyed it. Beetlejuice was pretty good. I had a fun time with that.
Yep.
And
I have a hot take. I think that one was better than the first one.
Oh, I think it's much better.
Okay.
I didn't like the first one that much. I thought 2 was a lot more fun and like wacky.
It was definitely more fun.
Yeah. And like Beetlejuice isn't in the first one. I don't know why it's called Beetlejuice.
Like he's in it for like 8 minutes collectively.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
And then Hitman, which was like the Glenn Powell Netflix movie that came out over the summer. That was really good. I also enjoyed The Bike Riders, which is I like put on my 2024 futures list, and it didn't do that well, but it wasn't that bad. So other than that, just all the stuff we talked about.
Cool.
Nice.
There's also a movie on Netflix. Did you guys watch Rebel Ridge?
No.
Everyone on all the podcasts I listened to raved about this movie. I thought it was
talking about it constantly.
I thought it was terrible. Like
interesting.
I just didn't. People were like, oh my god, they did like a different take on a guy rolls into town who's not supposed to be there in a small town, and the cops are crooked and they don't want him there because he's not supposed to. Like it was one of those movies, but he like you don't know what he is. Like he rolls into town and he's just this giant, obviously military dude, but you're like, what did he specialize in? Like it's kind of the secret that you don't find out about till halfway through. And it find out he specializes in like weapons tactics and how to like non-lethal fighting techniques. And you're like, cool. Like I wanted John Rambo, not this guy who doesn't really shoot people. He just disarms them and arrests them. Like, okay. And then like, so he like takes down the small town cop who's crooked, like with no force. And you're like, okay. Like it didn't hit for me. Like it just,
like you said earlier, Steve, there's a reason streaming movies are streaming.
Well, I'm screwed because I now have, for my action movies, I now have the John Wick bar. And if you don't meet the John Wick bar, it's like, it's not that good. Like I could be watching John Wick instead.
I actually rewatched over this weekend the Kingsman movies.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have seen those.
I've seen like 1 and 2.
So there's 3.
I don't think I saw
1,
3.
2, and then there's a prequel, which is it's called The King's Man, and it's the founding of the organization.
I've heard rumors about. Have you seen the 3rd one?
I've seen them all.
They like isn't the final scene they like meet Hitler?
So
like a young Hitler.
Movies, it's a secret spy organization. The first one is the first one. They're British. And it's all about
expecting that.
Taron Egerton, the Carry On kid.
Yes. And I want to preface that I love all 3 of these movies. I think they're great movies
in their own way.
But the first 2 are definitely the better of the 2. The 3.
I remember liking them.
But so the first one is literally about this British Secret Service.
Yep.
It's a independent intelligence agency, and it's a deep spy movie, and it's wacky. It has Samuel L. Jackson as the villain. Like it's fun.
That's always
tech
stuff.
stuff.
You sold me with that.
It's very out there. It's not in any way, shape, or form a grounded movie, but it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
However, I think the action is on par with like John Wick action. It's not as like realistic as John Wick, but it's fast paced. They show you angles of action that you wouldn't necessarily think to be shown.
Is the church
They do
scene in the first one?
Yep, they have like the church scene and stuff. So
Gotcha.
like, there's a lot of really, really good action sequences in it. And the second one is basically the Kingsmen in Britain meet up with the Statesmen, which consists of Pedro Pascal and what's his name, Channing Tatum as
Nice.
country spy men. They're literally from like Kentucky. They're Kentucky spies. And they team up to take down this evil drug lord. Again,
Checks out.
it is so wacky and out there, but they are fun action movies. The third one is a prequel, and it's the founding of the original organization, and it's set in World War One.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of this movie is that it basically reveals to you that World War One started because of this villain.
Hitler.
Interesting.
It has nothing to do with Hitler. Hitler's actually not even in the movie,
But
from my recollection.
is there? There's like a reference to Hitler at the end or something.
I don't remember. I don't think there was. It's
Or like
possible.
a post credit scene or something.
Maybe.
You might be thinking of Deadpool 2.
But so anyways, the whole premise of the prequel is that it's setting up the founding of these Kingsmen. And the villain is literally the one who orchestrated the First World War. He
Nice.
pits Russia against Germany, against England, and he's the one that sent the guy out to assassinate the Archduke Ferdinand,
Gotcha.
which propels the whole chain
World
of
War.
events that starts the First World War.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
As it does.
being
Right,
a history
naturally.
guy, when this movie came out, I was all over it because they don't make movies about World War One. That's just
Yeah.
something that they don't do. It's not really a talked about. Everything's World War II stuff or
Yeah.
Vietnam. So when this movie first came out, I was all over it, and I was like, "This is going to be so good." And it is a pretty good movie, but it definitely does not hold up to the standards of the first two. And the only credit I will give it is that the action sequences in this movie are still on par with John Wick action sequences. Again, they're not as realistic as John Wick. Like John Wick, he's like counting his bullets, he's reloading his jammed weapons and stuff. It's not that in depth, but they are very, very fun, entertaining action movies.
Nice.
So if you're like looking for that John Wick craving, go watch these movies.
It's those ones.
You'll find it.
Sounds good.
Nice.
I'm all set whenever you guys are.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was like they make a reference to Hitler at the very end of the third one.
I now have to look it up. I don't remember them doing that.
Like
but
a young
now I have to
Hitler.
look it
Like
up.
they're like, "Oh,
They might
meet our new recruit, Adolf." And like the screen goes black or something like that. There's no
So how that, like, I wasn't really listening because I was just calculating stuff for the next part,
typical.
and I hear Steve
Oh,
go,
it's
"Am
it's
I wrong?" Or like, didn't Hitler show up in that movie?
I guess it looks like there was a closing credit that
Yeah, I think-
introduces Hitler and Lenin
Oh.
as the two
Oh, man.
the two as the
Jeez.
two
Bangers.
new members.
Yeah.
Oh,
These movies are
God.
dark. They're rated R. They are super fucking violent.
No,
Like,
I've seen
they
I've
don't
definitely
hold
seen
back.
the first two. I've never seen the third
Yeah,
one.
they don't
though.
hold back at all.
Nice.
It's worth watching. If you've seen the first two, I mean, it's definitely not as good, but you're not gonna hate yourself for watching it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
worth watching.
I like to watch my movies in order, so
Hmm. Well, not everyone here is like that.
It's a prequel. So
Okay. All right. We good?
we're good.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna move on
Nailed
to
it.
the next segment of this episode today, where we revisit our film fantasy list that we did at the beginning of the year. So just how it works is, and this is to be prepared. I don't know if next episode or the one after that we will be doing this for our predictions for 2025. How it worked
Did we
is
do
we each
5?
had to.
10,
We did 6.
6.
Yes.
Why?
I don't
Weird
know how
number.
we ended. I don't know how we ended up.
Ugh,
I think
dumbass.
so. I don't remember how we ended up on 6, but we did.
6.
And so we each had to pick 6 movies that we thought would be successful. The rules were, once one person claimed the movie, the others were not able to get it.
Yeah, it was like a draft.
Realistically, we had to have like 18 movies ready to be used. And so we've done those already. I have them up in the list. I'll remind everybody of them before we reveal what the scores are. And before we do that, though, we had some that were not released this year. So, Steve, your third pick was Ballerina.
Yeah.
Which was moved to next year, I believe.
Yeah.
I've already switched that over to the 2025 draft I have sheet. And Colby, your number 1 and number 2 pick
Ooh, that's rough.
did not come out this year. That was Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse at number 1 and Avatar 3 at number 2.
Well, you'll get to
So,
keep Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar has to
and
come out. They already made it.
just as the rule goes, I guess I can take it off for next if it doesn't come out in 2025, that's fine. I already shifted it to that bracket I have, but I'll take those off there. What I think we should do is you guys can like pick the movies you want, but you should go through your top 10 and whatever the first one is that isn't on the list, you should put on the place.
Yeah, I think that's
You
fine.
like that idea? All right. So I don't know if you want to, Colby, you're gonna have to have 2 to fill in. See if you only have 1. Are there any you want to just shout out, and I'll let you know if they're on the list or not?
I can't really think of anything right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Twisters.
Okay. Yeah, that was not on there. All right. Colby, name. Give me a.
The problem is I don't remember what was picked.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
I'll do that then. Okay. So
Do
for
Beetlejuice.
No,
that was on the list. I'll go through the lists then. So mine,
Can you just
which
post
was the
it?
only one I could, but I already put this. Yeah,
is
I got
Gladiator
this.
2 chosen?
Yeah, I chose that one for sure.
Yes.
Damn it, Steve.
Yeah, give me one
That was
second.
probably my first pick. Oh no, Dune 2 probably was my first pick. I think I had
Yeah,
Dune
give me
2, Furiosa, Gladiator 2.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna put Civil War on that list because I know nobody picked that.
Yeah.
All right.
You want that
And-
number 1 or number 2? Not that it matters.
I'll
Number
put it
1.
number 1. Yeah.
Okay.
You could take Romulus.
And
I bet you
then-
no one took that.
Nobody took that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on.
Or Joker 2.
It's ca-
Someone probably took that.
Hold on. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, yeah, you can have it.
Who took Joker 2?
Hang on.
You
I'm
did?
gonna
Let me.
put.
Hang on.
I'm gonna put. Is Inside Out 2 taken?
I don't believe so.
Because I'll take that.
Nope. All right. Cool. All right. Okay. So.
Waka waka.
All right. So the lists are mine. My number 6 was the Lego Pharrell Williams movie.
Did that even come out? Like,
It did. My number 5 was Beetlejuice.
nice.
Number 4 was Joker, Folia Dukes.
Quite a list you're creating.
Number 3 was Godzilla X Kong.
It made a ton of money. It for sure made a ton of money.
Number 2, Despicable Me 4.
Made some good money. Never saw it.
Number 1, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, you saw
Okay,
one of your.
alright.
You
I
saw one
saw
of your 6.
2.
What was the other?
I saw that in Joker.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. So Steve, your list. Your number 6 was A Quiet Place Day 1.
Nice. It's a good.
Number
it's a solid
5
sixth
was-
pick.
Yeah, your number 5 was Gladiator 2.
Nice. 5.
Number 4 was The Bike Riders.
Cool. Didn't
Number
do
3
well.
was Twisters. Number 2 was Furiosa. And number 1 was Dune 2.
I saw all 6.
Good for you.
Nice. Pick with my heart.
Colby, your list, and I think those 2 that you picked may have saved you. Number 6, you had Arthur the King.
Did I
with-
really pick that?
Yes, you did. And I think you had said that because people like dogs. That was your reasoning. You picked a
My-
Mark Wahlberg movie.
That
I
made like
should've
Never
picked
thought
the
I'd see the
that
day.
made like $12 million probably.
Like we're gonna say
Oh.
$12 because that also would have been.
Number 5, you had Challengers.
Not bad. I don't think it made a lot of money though.
Yeah. Come on, man.
I don't think it
Don't
Well,
hit
we're
me
not
while I'm
we're not basing based off box office. We
Oh,
do
that's
IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. So,
That's true. Civil War might say.
your number 4
Arthur the
was
King.
Planet of the Kingdom of the Apes. Your number 3 was Bob Marley, One Love. Again, don't know where he got that idea. I mean, I think it did fine, but yeah. So then your number 2, Inside Out, 2,
That saved you.
I had a weak list.
and number 1 was Civil War.
I'm not making the mistake for 2025.
All right, so let's do in order. Should we do 1 to 6 or 6 to 1?
What?
I don't even know.
Like,
what you're doing.
if we thought that our number 1 pick would do you want to start with the number 1 pick or the number 6 pick for the results?
6.
So just going in order there. My number 6 was the Lego Pharrell Williams movie. IMDb. Anyone want to give it a guess?
5.2.
Colby?
Oh,
don't have to.
Man. No, hold on.
Okay.
6.7.
IMDb gave it a 6.8.
Oh. Heart of the
Rotten
cards. Heart of
Tomatoes.
the cards.
Rotten Tomatoes, anybody?
Oh, it's like a 14.
I was gonna say like a 20%.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 83%.
No.
Wow.
Mhm.
Dude,
Mhm.
I am out of touch. I should just stick with Godzilla movies. Oh my god.
All right, Steve, your number 6 was A Quiet Place Day 1
That's like a respectable 7.4.
Yeah, yeah,
for
I'd say
IMDb.
high sevens.
All right, so IMDb gave that a 6.3.
Oh, that's low.
I hate IMDb.
Rotten Tomatoes,
68.
74.
86.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like the way things work.
Is that critics? Is that
Yeah.
critics or people?
I believe I did. I think I did Critic because Critic doesn't change. People does change.
Gotcha.
All right, Colby, your number 6, Arthur the King, starring Mark Wahlberg
That's like a 4.1.
for IMDb. Okay, Colby.
But I'm optimistic.
IMDb gave it an even 7.
Oh,
This,
not horrible.
this is a bullshit.
No, I actually
Rotten
like this
Tomatoes. Guesses on Rotten Tomatoes.
Probably.
38.
It's a feel-good movie, so it's probably like a 67.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 69.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a feel-good.
Yeah.
but it does have Mac in it.
It
so
has an animal. People love animals.
It does.
Yeah.
It does more than Mac.
So after the first round, there, the averages for those two. So I did it by IMDb is 6.8. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 83, so I just made that 8.3.
Makes sense.
And so I averaged those two numbers.
A lot of math for an
Uh,
English major.
Yeah, tell me about it. I was calculating like a whiz. So
The wizard of Oz.
so third place after round 6 was Arthur the King with 6.95.
69.
Who'd have seen that coming?
Second place was A Quiet Place Day 1 with 7.4. And in first place, the Lego Pharrell Williams movie
Dude,
with
come on.
7.55.
I declare shenanigans.
Let me hang on.
What has this world come to?
It's pretty sad.
Yeah. All right. Well, then our number 5 picks are mine was Beetlejuice 2, IMDb guesses.
7.3.
Yeah, like a 7.
IMDb gave it a 6.7.
Oh,
Rotten Tomatoes.
77.
60.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 76.
Oh wow.
All right. All right. So Steve, Gladiator 2, IMDb.
Oh. 6.2. I don't think they like this movie.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty mediocre rating. Like 5.9.
All right. Well, IMDb gave it a 6.7.
Oh, higher than I would have thought.
And Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, 50, right in the middle. Mustache for the win.
Mr. Watson.
Oh, 80.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 71.
That's pretty good.
All right. And Colby, your number 5 was Challengers. IMDb.
That's like an 8.5. People love that movie.
Yeah. People like her. 8.8.
Yeah. Well, IMDb gave it a 7.1.
Oh.
This game's garbage.
I love these.
I don't want to
reactions
play
here.
anymore.
I don't
Rotten
wanna play
Tomatoes.
this game anymore.
Rotten Tomatoes is an 89.
I don't even care.
Okay. He's abstaining. Then Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 88.
Ooh, yeah, pretty good.
I like this
So-
game, man.
Number 5 averages here. Third place we have Gladiator 2 with 6.9.
69.
Second place, Beetlejuice 2 with 7.15. And first place, Challengers with 7.95.
Ah,
So,
well done.
yeah.
That's a good
Alright.
order for those.
Now, number 4. For me, I
Um,
had Joker. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would say maybe we should rapid fire these last middle couple and then guess for our number 1 picks.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
running 206 right now.
Well,
so
you know,
I
I was gonna say
can-
we just passed 2 hours, so
So, so here's what I'll do. Since I have the totals already, I'll go through all of them except for our top 2.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
And then we'll just do this for that. So just give me like 30 seconds to do the movies that you guys just added.
And
yeah, because it
when we
might
get,
take a little bit if we do them all one by one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say when you add them up too, like, wouldn't grand total be better than average?
Yeah, I can do that too.
I feel like the average just makes it all like super close, whereas like grand total will give it a little bit more separation.
Yeah,
If that makes
we can
sense.
do that.
You're basically
It's really leaving me in the dust is what you're doing.
you're really looking at like a total out of 60. Whoever is the highest total out of 60.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Let me. Sorry, just
So
trying.
those percentages last year were like what 0.3, 0.31, like they were like
Yeah, they were.
minuscule.
Yeah. All right. Civil.
So, how about that weather?
It was weathery outside today. I did
yeah.
weather.
I have a-
thing.
I have a headache from the weather.
I have a topic that's on topic while Andrew does his thing. Shout out for shows that nobody watched.
You don't have any? Just shout out to them.
I don't watch TV.
I don't either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a movie guy. Like the last 6 months, I used to watch a lot of shows, but now I don't have the I'd much rather sit down and watch the whole story in one go.
I will rewatch shows I've already seen.
Yeah, but not new
Like,
ones.
almost like comfort shows.
Yeah.
Like, because my thing is, I have TV. I'll put TV shows on in the background. If I'm building Lego or if I'm playing a game or something, the TV show will be on the background, and it's usually something I've already seen. That way, I don't really have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because if I watch a new show, I have to sit down and watch it.
Yeah. Also, I
right.
built the X-Men mansion yesterday. Other than the minifigures, the building is not that impressive.
Yeah, I figured that was the one I'd pass on.
I got it for
All right.
Christmas. I got it for Christmas, so
It's still good
So
Christmas
I don't.
No, it's a great Christmas gift, and the minifigures are fantastic. But the mansion itself, I was like, I don't know. I thought it would be a little bit more. And there's no Beast.
So what we could do is, because I don't know, I had a different system for how we were like scoring these things. I can do the averages at the end, and then maybe instead of averaging those down to 1, I could just do that total and see what the highest score is that way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
that
I
work?
think.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was the idea
Yeah.
there. Okay, so I'm gonna go through them all pretty fast right here.
I didn't
the
even see
Joker.
Despicable Me.
Yeah. Joker Folia Dukes averaged 4.15. Yeah,
That's terrible. That's
that
sub
might be the lowest,
5.
that might be the lowest one here.
My jaw
it is.
stayed the same.
That's sub 5.
Bike Riders had 7.35,
Oh, higher than I would have thought. Nobody saw that.
and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes had 7.45.
Higher than that deserves.
So that was the
Whoa,
highest
now
of
back
that
off.
round.
I need those points.
Number 3, Godzilla X Kong had 5.75.
I was gonna say that's
That
more.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
I had to make sure I was clear on that.
Trying to cheat over there.
Twisters had an even 7,
Okay.
and Bob Marley, One Love had a 5.3.
Oh, that
Yeah.
hurts. Oh, look,
All right.
he's got a little lizard.
It's my Godzilla blanket.
Very nice.
Why is he purple?
It's just cool colors.
Oh, okay.
All right, and so we're on the
I got a ping pong table too. Well,
Oh.
Amelia did.
Yes.
onto the top 2 now. All right, Despicable Me 4 averaged a 5.9.
Ooh.
That's really
Furious.
low for an animated movie.
It was
Mhm.
pretty bad in the scale of the Despicables and the Grooves and the Rises and all that stuff.
I think the Minion Love's kind of falling out.
A little bit.
Never.
A little washed up.
Furiosa averaged 8.25.
Ooh, a
Oh.
banger.
All right, give it to me
And-
straight, Doc.
Inside Out 2,
Oh, it did well. That's an 8.5.
8.35. Yep.
Okay.
Inside
Oh,
Out 2 had the highest of that round 2. All right, so on to our number 1s here.
Oh,
All right.
Dune. Cooking.
So Deadpool and Wolverine. IMDb, what do we think IMDb gave it?
8.3.
7.8.
IMDb gave it a 7.6.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes,
68.
82.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 78.
Oh.
So that averaged 7.7.
That's like right where
Yeah.
it should be. Like a 75.
That. All right, Dune 2. IMDb,
8.7.
I'm gonna say 8.3.
8.5.
Right in the middle.
Yep. Rotten Tomatoes,
92. I think it's gonna be higher.
Oh, you think higher than 92?
I think it could be. I think
I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna go back with 83. I'm gonna say 83 on this one.
well, Rotten Tomatoes gave it. Sorry, lost the page there. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 92.
92.
Yep, Steve, you were right.
Woohoo! Not even cheating.
All right, and then
Oh, he studied for this.
Civil
It's a
War,
good quest.
Colby's number
Good
1 pick.
quest.
IMDb,
That's an 8.4.
So people didn't see this, but I think the people that did see it rated it highly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say mid 8. So I'm gonna say like 8.5.
IMDb gave it a 7.
I hate them. I hate them so much.
That's rude. You know what it is? Because half of them are
Yeah.
Democrats and half of them are Republicans.
That's exactly what it is.
So like,
right.
man.
And Rotten Tomatoes,
85. Oh, they went lower, didn't they?
You know what? 6.9. Oh no,
Rotten
69. I don't
Nice.
even know.
No, Rotten Tomatoes gave that one an 81.
Nice.
Hell yeah, I'm winning.
Fair. Fair.
So for that round, it went Dune 2, Deadpool, Wolverine, Civil War.
I'm not winning.
All right, so now
That makes sense. That's a good 3.
yes, I'll share my screen with you guys for the
Please share.
because I haven't done the actual
I mean, we could just count
totals
Colby out.
yes. So let me
I'll just sit down.
just
Sub 5.
Here,
That's brutal.
put in my
Fully a do.
spreadsheet
Well, if it
here.
makes you guys feel any better, I didn't even want to play this game.
Makes you feel any better. I quit.
This
So my
game's
sum
stupid.
was a 38.2.
That's not bad.
I don't think so. I know it's not the. I think I got last place here.
Yeah, you got some
Uh,
tough
okay.
ones though.
Yeah.
Like made a ton of money but didn't get good reviews.
Yeah, Steve, your average total was 45.75,
Nice.
so you kind of blew me
No.
away there.
Nice.
Rise
Now,
of the King. Oh,
You did all
I
right
can't
over there.
believe I-
Oh, that Bob
I can't
Marley.
believe I-
Yep.
That Bob Marley
It killed you.
hanged me.
honorable mention here. I think, what was it? Dune had the highest average,
Yep. Fair.
and I think it also had the highest. I was trying to see what else there was there. I didn't have any in the 9s for the
No
Rotten
wild
Tomatoes.
robot on there. That would have given a lot. I
Yeah.
bet.
Colby, finished with a
pretty good.
43.55.
Pretty good.
So, yes, rankings are Steve, first place. Congratulations.
Victory!
You are the Tupcast Film Fantasy Champion of 2024.
I'm all about fantasies, baby.
Yeah, me too, because I'm single. And Colby, you're in second place. Ooh, not trailing too far
Look how
behind with
smooth that was.
43.55. Yeah. Can you tell I rehearsed it? And I finished in third place with 38.2. So we had said when we did this at the beginning of the year,
Best worst.
we all for the best. I
Ooh.
thought best would be Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Didn't come out.
All three of us. No, sorry, Colby. Steve and I both said Kraven the Hunter for our worst. Steve, you said it was either be Avatar 3 or Dune 2.
Yep.
Colby, your best was Avatar 3 or Bob Marley.
Oh.
And your worst was the Lego Pharrell Williams
That's
movie.
tough.
The thing is,
Did any of
with
us get those right?
bio-
Let's
The
see.
thing is, with those biopics, it's either they're god tier movies or they're trash. It's 50-50.
Yep.
It's
I was
either
gonna
people
say-
absolutely love them unconditionally or they're horrible.
I was gonna say, did any of us predict these right? And that didn't
No.
come out, so that's abstained.
Dune 2. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So Avatar 3 didn't. So we're gonna.
It's got
I'm gonna
cheating.
just find
got
out what the
cheating.
score for Craven
knew.
was right now.
Craven's got to be
Okay.
brutal.
Yeah,
gonna say
Craven. Oh
is
Jesus.
6.
For my IMDb gave it a 5.4.
Wow.
Rotten
That makes
Tomatoes.
sense.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 16.
Ooh.
A 16?
Yeah. Oh
Oh.
boy.
Wow.
Let me just.
They made a pretty
Well,
good
now I'm
trailer.
definitely not seeing it.
Yeah. So that averaged to 3.5. So 3.5. And then Dune had a 8.85 average. All right, and then so Lego Pharrell had a 7.55 average. A lot higher than I would have ever expected. And Avatar 3 didn't come out, so Bob Marley is Colby's best pick for this year. Which was for what actually came out on his list this year that he had originally said. Bob Marley would have been right, so. But your best pick, Colby, averaged worse than your worst pick. So, yeah.
Yeah, it sure did, didn't it?
Yeah. All right, so here's our blank template I have. I've put him in there like that. How you guys had yours already.
That's
I mean, we could also just do a blank draft in case somebody really wants that movie instead.
You can't have it.
Well, you have Avatar,
already
so I
claimed
can
it.
understand why you want to keep
You
yours.
already claimed it.
But we could, yeah. I mean, I probably would have drafted Ballerina anyways.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I
Well,
think that kind of sums up
that's
our
that.
2024 in review.
Yeah.
Quick, I really, really, really made a conscious effort to try and see Nosferatu before this because I really want to see that. And Robert Eggers, the director, made The Northman, which is like an awesome movie from a few years ago, and The Lighthouse, which is really cool. And
Oh, I wanted to see The Lighthouse.
I really wanted to see Nosferatu before this because there was a decent chance it was going to make my list because I'm like into horror all of a sudden. But I didn't. I made plans to go see the animated Lord of the Rings movie like a week and a half ago, and we got there and it was canceled. So I didn't see it, which sucks. I really wanted to see that.
The plans were canceled or the movie was?
No, like the movie theater, when I looked on the Thursday, it said it was playing at 7. And then when we went out to dinner at like 5:30, and then we were sitting there and I just like casually wanted to make sure it was still playing at 7, and it wasn't. So it wasn't playing until 9, and at that point it was too late. So I didn't get to see it. I don't know if it would have made my list. It's an animated, like an anime Lord of the Rings movie, but I wanted to try to see it.
Nosferatu.
Showing us the SpongeBob Nosferatu clip.
Yeah, so I wanted to see it, just never got the chance.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Maybe. It's only 2 days away.
Ideally, our next episode will probably air in a week or two. And it will be our Alien review. So it'll be number 2 of that series.
Yeah.
What's 3 just for future? Are
Let me
there any
find
like
out.
new release? Well, we'll probably talk about it next week when we go over when we draft, or 2 weeks when we draft. But
hang on.
What we're excited for and all that stuff.
Go list. Come on, load.
We got to do like an Oscar prediction episode too.
Yeah,
I know those are a couple months, but
we did Alien, and then after that is The Thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and after that is Groundhog Day.
Oh, a real a horror stretch here.
Yeah, until we get to after that is Schindler's List.
Oh, we're really crushing it.
The Pianist.
Nice.
No idea. It doesn't sound happy.
The Pianist.
It's also a World War II movie.
Oh. Old Boy, which sounds like it's about a dog.
It's not. It's
I don't
about a
think
guy
it
who
is.
gets locked in a hotel room for 20 years.
Huh. And we're going to end that off with Once Upon a Time in the West.
Nice. I mean,
And I think
by the time we get to that, it'll be Christmas again. So
I was going to say, if we keep consistently...
2027?
Probably.
Yeah. So what I was going to say kind of contradicts that entirely. But I was going to say, if we keep up with this every other week thing and it works, we should definitely throw in an episode about Harry Potter.
Just because?
Just because.
Oh, like the TV series that's coming out, or?
No, I meant the movies because we're going to Universal.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, we are, as a collective podcast experience, going to Universal Studios.
We should do
To
a summer.
experience the new Harry Potter theme park that's opening this spring.
We'll have to do a live or a together podcast.
We could do a
vlog.
Are we gonna do another vlog?
Vlog number 2.
I'll buy a whole new camera for it.
We should do one vlog a year.
Yep. I'm okay with that. They're gonna
my
be
dad
so random and have nothing to do with anything.
Right.
He recently found out that we had this podcast like yesterday, because when my relative was visiting for the holidays, and he was over watching the Pats game,
They
and
suck.
he's like, they were awful. It was such a depressing game. Did you watch the game after that?
No.
I forget who was playing.
Bengals.
It was
somebody.
Yeah. Well, however,
nice.
It was pretty boring at first, but like the end of the fourth with Ryan Seacrest.
You gotta do
but
that
it
at the
ended off
beginning of
pretty
all
good.
of our episodes now.
Absolutely.
And then at
I
the
got it
end,
for
that's how we begin and end now. On air.
Yeah,
off.
when it ends, I'll turn it off.
There you go. Perfect. Good practice.
Nosferatu. Yeah.
Yeah, football, Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, it was a pretty good game at the end. Like the
Nice.
fourth quarter, they ended up tying it like with 6 seconds left. It was intense. But yeah. So then anyway, my cousin was like, he lives in Florida, so he was flying back today. He's like, I need a new podcast to listen to on the way to the airport, and while I'm waiting on my plane. And I was like, well,
You recommend
have I got
us?
something for you?
Wow.
I was
that's
like, if
brave.
you're really desperate.
I wouldn't even
And he's like,
recommend
what?
D&D.
He's like, are you guys on Spotify? And I'm like, yeah, we are actually. And he looked us up, and I went to see what happened. And there was a podcast about two women who talk about Tupperware.
I know. I've
came up.
seen that.
That was awesome. I was so
That's
happy.
what we're competing with.
And my dad was like, why? He goes, I didn't know you did a podcast. He goes, why am I just finding out about this now? And I'm like, where do you think those movie theater chairs that are in our garage came
Yeah.
from? Like
Oh,
that, yeah.
man.
Because I've shown him the vlog for that.
Nice. I know. Do we ever want to like consider a different name, or are we set on?
I'm fine with this.
I feel like we're in pretty deep.
We're in deep.
This is like, what, episode 14? 15 maybe?
16.
That's the thing. We're not that
16?
many episodes in, but we're also a year and like 2 months in. So
Yeah.
it's not the amount of episodes, it's the length of time.
Time.
Mm-hmm. Is this our longest? No. I don't know if this is
Pretty
it.
long.
I'm gonna,
We're
I'm gonna
nearing-
check though.
2.5.
And for just oh, Steve, I didn't tell you this before the episode, but for reference, it's 9:41 p.m. I have to be up at 2:45 a.m. So.
Nice.
Wasn't planned that way.
Are you normally working tomorrow?
No,
Or
they called me
tonight?
in, so
Fun.
they called me in for tomorrow. Yeah, I got to be there early in the morning.
Overtime. Overtime.
This is definitely our longest episode.
Overtime.
And for me, I thought this was going to be one of our shorter ones.
I did too. I was not expecting
All the
it to
list
go
ones
like this.
always take longer. It's when we do like one movie, we're like, oh, I had fun. That movie sucked.
Alien next week will probably be quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we did Taxi Driver, we were like, that was like just under an hour, or like just over an hour, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah. Well, because you can only talk about one movie for so long, whereas we got a list of 30 movies, like, and other movies and other topics and other random things. So, and you can't do my new segment with this one. Are there Lego sets? That's more for our individual movie reviews. So, I'll keep that in mind when you're watching Alien.
Yes,
I will. I forgot about
was.
it. I probably will forget.
I had remembered that.
I mean, a buildable alien is an easy start. So,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Well,
All right.
I think that this is a good place to end our 2024 recap.
We'll see you next year, folks.
Yep, we will see you again. With
Although
our
you're
Alien
probably
review.
seeing us next year already.
That's very true.
Yeah, this will.
We're not talking about 2026.
Like that's
okay.
a strong ending note. So we will see you next time with our Alien in review.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.